Come on. Okay, I am public, and I'm only 10 minutes late to my stream. Haha! Great. So, I have no ideas anymore. I am fully drained. I had a yesterday where I failed a day, and therefore I'm going to do my first hardcore Minecraft stream because, believe it or not, I have actually never played Minecraft in hardcore mode before because it gives me too much stress. And since stress is good for views, stress is what we will be doing. That is the way it is because that is the way YouTube works. Therefore, I think this is a good idea, not a bad idea. Haha, let's go. Yeah, I adjusted my audio a bit, and now I'm fully ready to suffer and be in pain. I'm gonna also, as you can see, create this new world. It's on hardcore, so there's no cheats. I have no idea what I'm gonna do when I die. Probably create a new world, and that's gonna be painful. So yeah. I also have no idea how my performance is gonna be because I have a whole bunch of what you call it. I have a whole bunch of I have like a very pretty intense shader active, and therefore I have no idea if it's gonna work. Wait, did Stream Elements' chatbot finally start working? No, no, that can't be. Wait, Stream Chat. Now Stream Elements actually works, or what? Boo. Well, I also have. Ooh, wow, my POV is large. I also have large biomes selected. So, yeah. It's also an amplified world. And oh my god, the sensitivity is weird. I've not played Minecraft in a while. Where am I? I'm in a beautiful spot, I can tell you that much, but like, Jesus. Hi. People has just arrived in chat. Where am I? Wait, oh my god, I need to fix that. Ugh. Give me a second. Stream Elements is actually working for once. That's I'm not used to Stream Elements actually working. Oh, okay. Chat does remove the chat after a while. Okay, then I don't have to change anything. Or not really. Probably gonna pop up twice now every time on screen. Oh, that's so weird. It finally decides to work when I don't expect it to. Holy crap. So Minecraft, the obligatory Minecraft stream where every VTuber has to do it. Except this time it's hardcore, so it's totally different and not the same at all. No, no, no. I am a different type of content creator, and oh no, the leaves don't destroy themselves by themselves. Ah. Oh, that's annoying. First order of business. I cannot go deaf by hunger. Therefore, the sheep must die. Sheep, you are my sacrifice. Death to sheep. Die, sheep. How many lives does it take to beat up a sheep? Oh, die. Oh, hey, there we go. Well, I'm a terrible monster, but at least I have meat. I am in Minecraft. This is Minecraft with shader pack, with a shader pack on. I think it's Silder's Fancy Shaders or something like that. It's a Minecraft Forge thing, which makes the game look really nice. Oh, another sheep. Oh, I have to kill you, but I can't. And as you can see, the biggest challenge of the day is that we're doing it in hardcore mode, which means I'm going to die about 1,000,000 times, but I'm going to have to reset my world every time. And I'm also in the amplified biomes from the new update. So that's pretty neat. And look how nice it looks. I even get like little god rays through the leaves. It's so nice. Such a pretty thing. Ah! Oh wait, here. Oh, you came to me. I have an idea. What if I just make a little hole here, push it in there, and then kill it that way, and it can't escape, and I can just beat it up a few times. So okay, go in the hole. Go in the. I want. There we go. I have 2 meat. Therefore, I am totally in the superior position to kill things. Yes, indeed. Oop. Yoop. 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 Oh, I'm in a jungle biome. That is incredibly useful, because if I can find bamboo, then I can make bamboo thingies. Or is there no bamboo here? Give me bamboo. Come on, game. No running, no running. If I run, I don't preserve energy, and I die. Maybe I should just go find a village, kind of live there, take over the place, make it my own. Maybe, oh god, I'm gonna die if I stay in there. Oof, 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 oof. Oof, 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 oof. Oof, 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 oof. I'm under mushroom. Look how nice the view is here, though. Oh, more sheep to kill. Okay, so what I'm gonna more than likely do is try and set up a base all the way there at the bottom. Then I will make a pickaxe, start digging a hole for myself in the night, and continue to beat the living ass out of those sheep. Yes, that is my plan. I will murder all. That'll be the great contributing factor to my stream. Okay. Can I make this jump? Okay. I'm dead. Okay. Death number 1. Because skeleton tried to shoot me in the back and therefore murdered me because I wanted to take a hasty decision. Yippee! Now I'm positing later on to add an extra tab to this so I can also have YouTube open. Because before, the reason I'm also like 10 minutes late on my own schedule is thanks to YouTube's recommendation and security breach, I've just been getting a whole bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's stuff recommended to me. And there's like this 4-hour retrospective that this guy, Sagan Hawks, did. And it's really good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is really entertaining. And oh my god, there's no trees here. Oh my god, what is this? Where am I? How in the ass am I supposed to survive here? Yes, thank you, Minecraft. I'm totally gonna be able to survive in the. Oh, why is there water there? Oh my god. Maybe I can burrow myself and go down that way a bit. Ah. Yeah, I'll do like that. I'll make my descent by just climbing down. Maybe this stream can be titled, I spawned in the literal worst location in Minecraft through hardcore. Holy crap. Ow! Wait, is all of this just... This can't just all be Sahara, right? No. Well, there has to be more than just this. This is... No. This is stupid. What, I'm just stuck in the desert? Like, what's oil gonna do for me if I can't... I can't survive? There's no food here. There's nothing here. It's just sand. It's all sand. It always has been. Oh no. Oh, what the crap is all this? Yes, there's coal there, but how can I survive? There's nothing... Oh my god. No, this is terrible. Which generator idiot made it that it could just spawn sand? Okay, let's try to not kill myself, because otherwise this game will become really easy, because I'll just keep resetting the game until I find a place I can actually survive in. Oh, okay, that gives me sticks. Okay, oh, okay. So I can't, okay, forget what I said. I'm being a bitch baby, bitch boy. I can't, no, I cannot survive it. I don't have enough wood to make a... Can you make wood out of sticks? Does anyone know that? Maybe that could help. If I can make wood out of sticks, then that would be something. Ah. Oh my god. Oh, what in the crap is that? If it kills me, I can go to a new world, so... Oh. It's a bunny? They added bunnies to Minecraft? What the f... Oh my god, look how adorable! Oh. Oh, one of the bunnies seems to be dying. Look, water! Oh, of course Mmm. The water. How am I supposed to survive in this world? A bit of sugar cane. This is so stupid. Look at me. Look at me. Except if I can make wood out of these sticks, then that would be... Come on. Can I make wood out of sticks? Nope. Can't even make a crafting table. This is the worst run of Minecraft I could ever do. Maybe I could find a village, but outside of that, this is a dead world. Might as well just literally die. This is the stupidest hardcore world I've ever been in. And I've not really been in hardcore before, but from all the worlds I've ever built, this is probably the stupidest. I can't just survive in the water. I need to be able to do something. Be able to get wood, survive, to do Minecraft. You know, the way you're supposed to do Minecraft. You build the table to build a house, and then you continue building your house, and you forget that there's ever the rest of the game. Oh my god, it's more sand! Is that a tree? Oh, that looks like a tree. Oh, my survival is imminent. I shall live. Can't swim, apparently. Thank God they didn't add like the Kraken or some bullshit in this game. Although I don't know what the consensus is on sharks. I don't like deep. Deep is scary. Look up. Why am I underwater? Do I see like a different world in the distance? Or are those clouds? Oh, green biome. I get to live. I get to live to shit talk another day. Back to that. I'm so surprised that that thing actually worked. Holy crap. Obligatory vtubing. Look at this. VTuber spawns in absolute worst location possible. What am I supposed to do? The drowned are literally gonna come after me. What, I get one tree? Is that it? Oh no, there's sand. There's normal dirt land over there. Holy crap. This is the worst place to spawn in. Who spawns in literal sand? Some kind of crappy movie I'm doing or something? Oh, and the sun is setting. Probably the worst part. Yeet. Get back up there. Get up there. I don't need more sticks. I need tree. I need tree saplings. This world is extremely unreliant. Thank God I have sand. Give me something. Should have installed a mod just to make my life a little easier that like destroys the lamps. Oh, there you go. That's what I want. Yes. Gimme, gimme, gimme. 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 Yes, I got 2 of those. Let's go to the mainland and see if I can find any coal. Holy crap. Look at the formation. Swim, swim. Swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. Swim, 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 swim. Okay, I don't have enough chunks. I need more chunks to be able to see further. Yeah, let's tank my performance, see what that does to me. Let's go! Holy shit. Oh god. Maybe I should make a boat. If I make a boat, then at least I have a boat. That could be neat. Oh, cool. Oh, okay. I have a little place I can set up shop. Got some dirt there. Some crap over here. There we go. No, I don't need Arcadia wood. Then I need a crafting bench. The crafting bench down. Take these 2 things. I don't have a custom skin yet for my model because I am extremely poor. Slash don't have the time to be doing all this crap. Let's go. 1, 2. So this is the entire stream, by the way. All of my stream now is just gonna be like 2 hours of just me playing Minecraft, and possibly me setting up the Google stream so I could just watch YouTube. Oh, maybe that's an idea. Maybe the stream will be me watching YouTube whilst torturing viewers with just like reactionary content. And then people can DMCA take down my shit later on. Like, cause I don't care too much for DMCA takedown as long as I am not bored. Again, that's ow, ow, ow. I sound like Octo when I do that. SpongeBob, you cannot do that. This is unfitting of yourself. Right, gimme, 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 gimme. Yes, thank you. Now I'm a little faster. Now I can at least try and find a place that's not incredibly terrible. Oh, look at this world. I need seeds so I can make, you know. Oh, and if it's not clear enough, I'll make a few of these, put that in my offhand so I have light. There we go. Into oblivion. I am hungry. I need food, but there are no things to kill. I think this world is trying to tell me something. I'm gonna be so disappointed if I actually do end up whenever I do die in this world. I'm gonna be so disappointed because I'm putting all this effort into like not dying. Yet I have the increasing feeling that the world is gonna try and find a way to kill me anyway, even though I'm literally doing all what I can, which is, you know, trying to find a more hospitable place where I don't die out of just starvation. Does hunger kill you in hardcore? I actually do not know. Also, pro tip for anyone that wants to like film a thing, do a storyboard beforehand. Even if they're bad squiggles or just like photos from the set, if you know your camera angles beforehand, that's going to be way more useful than, oh my god, it's going to be night and I have nothing. Oh, gee, no, by literal drowns. When you're Minecraft, is so... look at my performance. I don't know how to turn it off as well, by the way, the performance metrics. I turned that on at one point and now it's always there. But look at me, jogging through Minecraft's literal worst version. Okay, let's put a thing to the side so I can just see. Holy crap, my model is also lagging on stream. LOL! Oh wow, this is pretty. Look at that. Put this down. Let's bring that back to 90. Screw it. Make that lower. A lower requirement so it doesn't have to slog my performance. Oh! My performance is so bad, oh my god, my VTuber avatar can't keep up because of the performance of Minecraft. Holy shit, that's insane. Oh my god, I should just turn this, probably the resource pack off. It's probably, yeah, probably let's turn that off and then go into high performance mode. Maybe now I can put on the chunks again. Ha! Yes. Back to chugging my VTuber model, right? Do that so I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh wait, the light stick thing. This. Oh, so the underwater thing is a real thing. Oh shit, that's a drowned. Oh look, it's a boat. There's a motherfucking boat. Yeah, I want that. What does that look like? Let's jump out. It's a boat. It's an actual boat. No shit. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I'm gonna be drowning. I'm gonna be drowning. I'm gonna be drowning. No, 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 not after all I've done! Not after all I've done! No, 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 we're out of here. We are out of here. Out of here, meaning we have come too far to die to drown. I'm not drowning to any stupid zombie that will try and kill me. Not doing that. It's bullshit. Okay, my chunks are still too big. Let's bring the chunks back. Back to lowly that amount of chunks. Let's bring the video settings back to 60 because like who the hell, why would I want to use the full possibility of my my gaming monitor? Who needs 145? What 165? I think I have 165 frames per second I could maximally have on. But who needs that if you're playing Minecraft, right? Look, the render distance isn't too bad. I can look downstairs. It's pretty though, everything lit up. Those look nice. Looks nice in VR too, but like, problem is I can't do face tracking if I'm playing in VR. And like, I will literally not dare to move out of my house if I'm actually playing in VR because VR is terrifying. So what not enough people are saying is that VR is literally terrifying, especially for games like Minecraft. Look at me go. Like I'm a real VTuber now. Oh no, I've not done the one thing all VTubers should be doing. Sharing on twitter.com that tweeting that oh, yeah, at YouTube, let's go. I am so bad at using the Twitter, by the way. It is not a healthy thing at all. Look at this. Look at this obligatory junk. I should just kill myself because literally that's a weird sentence to say out loud. I should just kill myself because this world is not interesting at all. So I have no engaging clips I can get from this. Screw it, sure. I'll make it, but my death has to be interesting. No skeletons. Skeletons aren't interesting death. I will have a warrior's death. Let's go. Okay, a warrior's death. How do we do that? we accomplish that by a few things. I'll make that, that, put that in my hand, put that in my offhand. Let's go. 5 damage. Wait, I need to see one thing. A theory I've posited for a while. What? 9 attack damage? The sword is useless. Okay, it's slower, but who cares, right? Like, oh my, the axe does that much damage? Let's go. Ow. Hey. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, die. A warrior's death. I shall die in this world, but only in combat. Only combat will... Oh my god, there's a thing there. Oh, there's a thing there. I can actually go... Oh, now I want to explore that before I die. Die, zombie. I still have more flesh. Die, zombie. Why is he gray? Or is he supposed to be brown? I don't know. I feel uncomfortable if he's brown though, because you know, whitish looking VTuber. I can't be doing in America. I just cannot. Oh, water. Oh, I cannot be found. What? Oh, so it's just that. Boo! Back to dying in glorious combat. Come on, kill me. Ow. See, I'm almost dead. Oh, there we go. Now I can finally go do an interesting world. Hardcore. Lamblify. Back into the game. I'm just gonna have to, after stream, delete a whole bunch of worlds, by the way. And I'm gonna look into that extra YouTube tab. How do I open that? Wait, let's first select it. So it's just that one tab. And then where is OBS? Where is OBS? There's OBS. See if I can... Why doesn't that work? Boo. Was it in studio view I do that? Wait, let's see, right? Studio mode, I can, yes, do different things whilst, oh, shit. Crap. No! Where is, where? Okay. No! Oh, okay, so my streaming Halo world is where my... Well, that's stupid. Let's duplicate this. Ah! I am so incredibly sorry that this is being such a bastard. Okay, let's go. Let's see. Okay, now I can just like screw that, make it smaller, and then whilst I am actually, then I can continue watching the video I was watching, whilst I'm watching stream, because then I can just stream casually and watch me Five Nights at Freddy's long ass video. Oh, I gotta make chat smaller though. God, I gotta make the video smaller. I'm okay. So I have to give you some background, right? I have a 2-screen setup here, and I'm trying to make it where I can see the screen, but also my chat next to it, just in case. There we go.
That enough detail for you? If not, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's the game. So let's move on to visuals and audio. Now, there isn't a lot to talk about here, so these will probably be pretty short.
Let's go.
They're not really scary, and it's not trying to be.
This guy has good videos, by the way. Like this is the one video I've been watching from him, but I am mega engaged with this.
One cool aspect that I mentioned briefly are the offices. Instead of being stuck, the desk, walls, cupcake from FNAF 1, the toys from FNAF 4, to the shell of the animatronics from 3, to the pipes and the Ennard mask of Sister Location.
Oh crap.
Almost every game
Look
is
at that.
represented here. All the characters are here, from your favorites to obscure characters you might not even know of if you're a more casual fan, like the Trash Gang, Dee Dee, and Old Man Consequences.
Look at this.
Nothing has really changed visually for the characters, they're all pretty much the same. Now, the clash of all of these styles, characters, and games does not create a very scary atmosphere. Like I said though, it's not really trying to. Tense? Sure, but it's really goofy more than anything. I mean, the visual alone of Toy Freddy gaming is goofy enough to ruin any fear. But with so many things going on, especially in this crowded office, the feeling of tense panic is tangible. It's almost like a rhythm game. Maybe it'd be easier if it was just timing lines down the screen, but they've got to add explosions and effects and loud sounds and screen shake and all sorts of shit to distract you. The visual overload on something like 5020 is astonishing. Characters fading in and out, things popping up on screen, any number of random eyes staring at you from the desk. It's very confusing on purpose. Okay, one more thing about the visuals. We have to talk about Funtime Chica. They gave the chicken titties. Okay, that's fine.
Chicken titties?
I guess in the bubble of this goofy finale
stupid.
game, it's whatever.
Why?
Kind of a joke or a nod to that joke that's basically been around since FNAF 2.
She is such a bad bitch though. I'm shit out of that robot, man. I'm not
What the fuck?
When it comes to just the drawings as a whole, just the artists
God,
Scott has chosen for like drawn art for the series, I've been kind of disappointed. I'm not trying to stir up drama,
Boo.
I'm just looking at a product as a consumer. The drawings are passable,
They're
I suppose,
fine.
and I appreciate the idea of hiring people from the community, but there are artists that are so much more deserving of the spotlight. And there are personal reasons why I don't like the artists Scott hired from the community, mainly Pinky Pills and Lady Fizzy, mostly because they're both huge perverts, and I think Lady Fizzy is like a transphobe. I'm not trying to throw Scott under the bus here. I appreciate the idea of what he was trying to do. He wanted to take people from the community who have
Well, considering later controversies, it's a little ironic, I guess.
Work officially on
Right?
the games.
I don't want to become a drama channel. I want to stay away from that stuff as much as I can.
Fan Game Universe initiative. But I'm just glad he's actually hiring professional comic artists for the Twisted Ones graphic novel, because the Silver Eyes one was ugh.
Oof. Sheep!
Okay,
Kill the sheep!
Honestly, the big thing is
Die,
all
death
of
to
the
sheep.
characters have voice lines. Almost every single
Let's
character
die.
has
Gimme.
multiple after-death voice lines. In Pizzeria Simulator, it didn't really work for me. I just thought it was too goofy and it ruined the whole tension of it because it was
go.
really scary and trying
Let's
to
go.
take it seriously. But this game is just completely wacky and goofy, so it adds a little bit of depth and character. Generally, the music and sound effects are good as always, and the menu
What
music
am I
goes
going to be
hard.
making?
And not that I need to remind you, but the audio is used a lot in this game. From Phone Guy to Music Man, there's a real importance to the audio. No stone of gameplay was left unturned for this game, so don't just keep your eyes peeled.
It's kind of cool able to incorporate that many
Like I
shit
said,
into like
there's
one
not
big
a lot
ass
else
game,
to
right?
say here. So let's just move on to the
Not that
fun
I ever want to play it,
lore and the secrets.
because it's just too difficult. Wait, let's leave this one tree here as,
So
as a
if you
token.
dipped out of the fan base before this game, you may be thinking,
Well,
how
yes.
is it even possible that any of this is canon? Is it like FNAF World where it's sort of meta? Well, not exactly. When we get to the theory part, we'll talk a little bit about how the gameplay itself is probably canon, but for now, let's just look at everything face value. First, the voice
We'll
lines.
turn this
Like
into
I
a
said,
cool thing.
After every death, the character that jump scares you will say a voice line, and many times they will have multiple to choose from.
So by this point, that's
Now, 80%
probably
don't
the
really
puppet,
mean
right?
anything, just spooky or funny one-liners. However, a lot is revealed in some of these. For instance, one of Withered Chica's lines is, now that seems important. The first victim, the first set of victims.
I think
other
the
lines,
first
including another
turn,
from Withered
right?
Chica, reference someone that you should not have killed.
Probably the puppet.
That is obviously a big deal. It means whoever you're playing as is a killer. So William Afton? That is a wild revelation, and it means all of the voice lines are directed at the main killer of the whole series, which Adds a whole new
Kinda cool.
layer to all of these
Yeah,
lines.
that's
A bunch of
the
other lines
Matt Pat
start to
theory,
make
right?
more sense and connect to this idea
I'm not
and
against
feed into
Matt
what
Pat
the
that
story
much.
really means.
But I don't know the drama as well.
I am given flesh to be your tormentor.
Really hammering home this idea
Lol.
that this is some sort of punishment for William Afton. That's
Let's
just the surface
go.
level for these
Yeet.
lines, but there's something more. So who's the one you should not have killed?
Yeah.
Well, most likely it's the vengeful spirit that was hinted at in the voice casting. And where does this show up? The mediocre melodies, strangely enough. These characters usually just have goofy voice lines, but every once in a while they'll say something out of character. And behind their voice you can hear someone whispering, controlling what they're saying.
This is how it feels, and you get to experience it over and over and over again. Forever.
It's you know what? Big theory. It's the torment. The tormentor is the soul of the night guards that had to sit through all this shit.
So obviously
That's the new theory. New theory for a game nobody theorizes anymore about.
What that could mean
Yeah.
For now, just realize we're playing as a killer. This is some sort of punishment, and someone else is pulling the strings. Quickly before we move on, I want to make a correction. In my last video, I said we don't really have any idea what the gravestones mean at the end of Pizzeria Simulator, but there is one connection that I missed out on. The gravestones are set up in line with the animatronic heads at the end of FNAF 3, so it seems like these are the names of the original crew victims. I still think having 2 FNAF guard names is stupid unless they're saying that they are the victims, but then the 5 kids going missing, this story
Makes
is hard
it
to track.
This game's difficult.
Having a parallel with the first real finale of the series with FNAF 3 is really cool. But I bring the gravestones up for another reason. At this point, the community was still working hard at the survival logbook, and a mystery was being solved. The name of Golden Freddy, aka one of the obscured gravestones. There were all sorts of codes and hints and crazy stuff.
Look at the fishies!
But one user actually
God.
did it. I believe the first person to really figure this out was DPowerful1 on Reddit. Using the word search in the book, they were able to find the name Cassidy, which I believe is a name referenced in the last of the Silver Eyes trilogy. It's a pretty big deal, literally Golden Freddy's name, but there was more lore in the books around this time. On the note of the logbook, there was a little bit of stuff I didn't mention about the logbook in my Pizzeria Simulator, most notably that the owner of the logbook was Michael Afton. Tons of different hints and even the first name suggests this, but the drawing of Nightmare Fredbear really hits home. This was Michael Afton's logbook. And finally,
Who was Michael?
Oh,
so it's the guy.
Book in the Silver Eyes trilogy. Again, the name Cassidy is in that book too. There's also a more expanded definition of what Remnant is. I explained it a little bit in my Pizzeria Simulator video, but to just go over it again briefly, it's essentially a mix of molten metal, human flesh, and strong human emotion. It's basically what makes the animatronics haunted, or maybe more of like a byproduct. I'm not exactly clear. Either way, in the 4th closet, William Afton is
look at that!
with it to give
I can
himself
kill him in one go! Let's go!
I never really finished that book, but
yeah, screw them. Oh, what's this? Where does this go?
To the lore. Looking away from the books, let's look at more of the hidden secrets.
I can kill things now in one hit because the axe is real powerful.
You set him to be the only character and then catch a fish, you'll be teleported here. A very similar place to Old Man Consequences area in FNAF World. He says, "Come and sit with me for a while. Leave the demon to his demons. Rest your own soul. There is nothing else." Meanwhile, creepy ambience plays in the background. If you go into the lake, then the game crashes.
Oh.
It seems like we're
gave
switching
light?
perspectives from Williams to the vengeful spirit, being told to leave William alone and let their own soul move on. And to slightly get into the theory area for a moment, that's why the game just ends and crashes. The game is the punishment, so the game crashes when the soul moves on. Kind of reminds me of this part in FNAF World.
Kind of cool, I guess.
Old Man Consequences Lake. A lot of people thought this was an
Oh god, I thought I
There's
heard
also
something big move.
else here too. The audio in the background is actually an extremely slowed
What
version
in the
of
hell?
screaming.
What is that? What is that?
Likely, this is William screaming.
Oh.
Pretty horrifying. There's also
Look, there's
these
like a
weird
laser
ending
beam eye. What
cutscenes,
the hell is
one about,
that?
Like Yandere Chica, and another one which I guess was like a precursor to the recent Fury's Rage game. The only thing here, outside of the jokes that might be interesting to the story, is some possible parallels to Chica and William. The only thing that really creeps me out and does any real world building is the fact that Chica
I have
has
flesh.
victims and says the line, "By the end of the day, he'll be mine." If you want to look at the parallels, it paints a really creepy picture of William Afton sitting in the corner of Freddy Fazbear's choosing a victim for that day. Ugh. And of course, there's the vengeful spirit, the one you should not have killed.
Oh, my yeet.
You see this creepy, distorted face faintly on
To the
game
water,
screen.
I sacrifice thee.
Besides
Whoop.
being like the only human
There's a
character
boat there.
we've
I'm gonna have to
seen
explore
isn't
that later.
pixelated, it's also just really creepy. But aside from that,
Ooh,
there's
an
no,
apple.
like, hidden codes or whatever,
Nice.
it's just the face. You can also summon Fredbear. Not Golden
Fredbear?
Freddy, Fredbear, which is basically the same thing but with a purple hat and tie. Turning on only Golden Freddy, buying the death coin, and then using it when he's on screen will cause Fredbear to jump scare you. Afterwards, distorted audio plays that are very hard to make out, but some people have taken a crack at it, including MatPat. But it's really hard to tell. The last
Yeah,
really
spawn
important
point.
thing
I'm gonna
I'll
totally
talk about is
respawn at this
Golden
point.
Freddy.
Yes, great
If
game.
you're getting a score of
Thank you.
9800, you get this cutscene.
What? So sad. Look at that. Oh. There we go. Like a little house on the outside and then mine down from there. That's the idea.
Pretty creepy, but also slightly emotional. There's something hauntingly sad about the music and Golden Freddy just twitching as he fades away. Exactly what it means is unclear, but it's pretty cool. There's a couple other, like, smaller, not really very relevant Easter eggs I should mention. Some FNAF World characters will appear at times, and then of
That's
course,
cute.
the opening. I completely forgot
Lol.
that was a thing until I opened up the game to make this video, and it completely got me. With all of that out of the way, let's talk community.
Goodbye, tree I was not gonna kill.
First, just a reminder. This was the most community transparency Scott has ever given to a FNAF game. The progress, how far along he was, each character and how each character worked, and also 50/20 mode was a huge deal. This was obviously talked about with all of the custom nights, but people were legitimately wondering if 50/20 mode was even possible. And like I said, because of that, Dawko challenged Scott Cawthon. And well, you wanted to know the outcome, although I'm sure you do if you're in the Five Nights at Freddy's community. Well, after literally days of streaming, Dawko did it.
What? Oh my god.
He wasn't the first, but he was up there, and so we got
Wow.
probably the only audio interview with Scott Cawthon, and definitely the only official interview since, like, FNAF 1. If you like FNAF, I would definitely recommend watching
Okay,
it.
cool.
It's really interesting,
That's
and
really
there are
neat.
some good questions in there. But definitely a huge shout out to Remery for beating 50/20 mode first. Alright, with all the stuff
Showing
I
that
talked
it was
about
possible,
in
I
the lore
guess.
section, let me just quickly spell out the two main theories behind this, although the first one is definitely more widely accepted. The first theory goes like this. After the events of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, William is on his way to hell. But that didn't quite work. See, this vengeful spirit who is widely thought to be Golden Freddy keeps his soul from moving to hell, instead wanting to punish William himself. So that's what Ultimate Custom Night's gameplay is. All of the visions of William's creations coming after him, killing him over and over for eternity. For some reason, the puppet's attempt to help him in the happiest day wasn't successful for Golden Freddy, and his soul stays behind to punish him. Some people even think that he's holding the other spirits hostage to help him, stopping them from moving on. However, the hope
Oh, that's
is
kinda
that
cool, I
Hellbound
guess.
Consequences, whoever the hell that is, convinces Golden Freddy to rest his spirit, and I guess William goes to hell. Except when in Help Wanted, his digital self is uploaded to the Matrix, and the other theory is a little thin, considering how much
It's uploaded to the Matrix.
popular theory back when
Basically,
first
the
came out.
Matrix
At
is,
this point, it's pretty well
Matrix is
established. The older
confirmed.
brother in FNAF 4 is Michael Afton, who accidentally kills his younger brother. Well, the theory here is that his younger brother is Golden Freddy, the one you should not have killed. After Michael burns at the end of Pizzeria Simulator, his brother punishes him.
Ooh,
Not sure
it's
why they had to
Michael.
specify the one you shouldn't
That
have
it's
killed,
Michael and
but
not
all of the
Afton.
references
Because
all
Afton isn't
fit
dead,
in,
but Michael is.
that was one of
Ooh,
the
that's an
other
interesting
ideas.
one.
Unless, of course, you're Matt Pat, who thought that Michael Afton is the younger brother. Alright, man. Okay, speaking of Matt Pat and stuff, I feel like I need to address this. A lot of people, especially after my FNAF 4 video where I had a whole segment basically debunking an old Matt Pat theory, a lot of people think that I hate Matt Pat, but that is not true. Look, there's a lot of stuff that Matt Pat has done that is cringy or just in poor taste, and that's not just like the Sans versus Ness video. Plus, his persona is just very smarmy, so it makes him an easy target to make fun of. But I
He's
don't
like a
hate
nerd.
him.
He's a dork.
Very important part of the Five Nights at Freddy's community. I admire the amount of work he puts in and dedication to making these extremely long, well-edited, most of the time really well thought out Five Nights at Freddy's theories. And the charity work he's done is astounding. He's raised so much money and put together huge events that are really amazing, and I admire him for that. I actually really like watching FNAF game theories whenever they come out. He's just kind of goofy and has the whole know-it-all persona, so he's kind of easy to make fun of. And with that out of the way, let's see where this game
But it's in good faith. Therefore, okay, that's the one thing. Because I know some people that are like legit angry with him, and that one I don't get. But like, as long as it's all in good faith, then yeah, raging on people is sometimes fun, you know?
Last time we're gonna do one of these. The final answer.
No, and then security breach, right?
Tier list of all the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Well, it goes in C. I mean, this one rides pretty much entirely on its community importance alone. It's a cool concept and well executed.
But as a game, it isn't as fun, right?
What it is not a lot. It's not really very scary and doesn't have a lot of the hallmarks of a Five Nights at Freddy's game. Despite having like every character. I mean, it's a feat to get that many characters into one game and have it still work, so, you know, there's no denying that, but as a game on its own, it's just not a lot. FNAF World Update 1 and 2 definitely have way more going for them, but
I could probably imagine as well, it's just not often not fun to play.
It's fine for what it is, and there is some pretty cool lore stuff in it. So here we are, the end of an era. Although you can also look at it as the beginning of a new one. I've got plenty of content in the future. The SCP retrospectives, reviews, video essays, retrospective series on the book series, so maybe I'll do that. Like I said at the beginning, this series has
the books I've never read, because I don't read. Because I'm a big dum-dum, I like my things to be visuals, I don't need it to be read.
I hope you've enjoyed this look back at Five Nights at Freddy's.
That was cool. That was, okay, is there anything else in this video? Just a little ending. Okay, it's just ending. No, this is definitely a great video. I enjoyed it very, very much. I enjoyed it very, very much. And yeah, I did not think I would enjoy it that much. Because, you know, different tastes and all that. I don't always expect
alone, which is amazing, by the way,
to be liking stuff. But no, but definitely, does this person have a video on the new one again? Oh no, it doesn't have on the new one. No, I wanted the video. Oh, Slenderman games.
Thank you to the.
Oh no, let's get real nostalgic in this bitch. Let's go, Slenderman type videos. Yeah, that's been forever. Let's make this a bit bigger. Make this a bit more interesting so people can actually see what I'm seeing. Okay, now you can also watch. Now you can also watch me watching YouTube. Because I'm just going to be playing hardcore, but since I'm playing now a very safe area, it does not matter what I do as much. So I just want to watch YouTube videos. Because that's what I do.
Supporting the channel.
So that's what I do. Let's like the video preemptively, and I'll take away the like anytime I don't like it.
Sure is chilly.
But wait, before we go into that, let's talk about the FNAF video a bit, right? So, I did not know there was so much shit, and I knew for like how it was being referenced from time to time that the FNAF World game was kind of hated, but I never knew why, and this always seemed like an odd game that I just wasn't really interested in, so therefore I never took a look at it. But gotta say, after seeing what it became like, oh god, it seemed like a weird experiment, right? Kind of cool in that sense, like as a weird oddball experiment for the franchise to do after X amount of games that he did before. However, I can totally see why he was probably interested in doing it that way, like trying to make an interesting project. And wait, let's make. Ooh, wait, yeah, let's first make a hoe, our first hoe. I could totally see where younger me also did really like the FNAF franchise. However, for me, I would say my personal experience with it is something like I liked it up until about 4. I didn't like 4 that much because the whole dream theory implication, I hated that. Where it's like, but I liked that it had a definitive ending and a definitive killer, right? Like, I think for me, lore-wise, like game-wise, I agree with the guy that FNAF 2 is the quintessential one, since that's the one that just has the better mechanics, but also it's just there's way more of it out there. Like, I agree with that aspect a lot, and I also really like I really like this retrospective. Not gonna lie. However, I do think that that the community just went wild. I did not know FNAF became. I knew FNAF was big, right? But I did not expect it to be that much of a clusterfuck franchise-wise. I did not know that. I think a lot of the jump scares got worse as time went on. Like the actual animations for them, right? Like in the first game, they're short and snappy, but like the second game, they're just not that good. The third game is sad because it has the most potential in, I would say. It's just that the jump scare really, really sucks. But let's say Springtrap were to walk up to you and like his face tears open, and then he like bites you or whatever, or he tries to grab you, then that would have had way more impact. But it's just a little too, a little too safe for my taste, I'd say. And for that, I just can't say that I really like FNAF the one FNAF. But I like most of the other ones, not gonna lie. I like okay, wait, let me stop walking so I can talk for a goddamn minute. So what I liked about the FNAF franchise, right, is how it did iterate on that cool idea of the animatronics, the whole Chuck E. Cheese demonic blah 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 thing. But it got played out by like the end of the second game, I would say, because at that point, well, you have it. You have the ultimate game with like a whole bunch of different characters, right? New and old. And then 3 was a really interesting diversion from that, from having all the animatronics to just having one, so you actually have to make use of the camera. If that game just had a better jump scare, it would have been fine, right? And then we get to FNAF 4, which is interesting for me looking back on it, but at the time I hated it because for me it was like, oh, I liked how the first 3 games have this little story and it's over, but then the 4th game just kind of throws a wrench in everything where it's like, oh, what does this mean? And now there's like nightmare animatronics. It's also, I think, when the books got first announced and stuff like that, where I'm like, eh. And that's where the franchise lost me a bit. I remember then ignoring all of FNAF World, just thinking that was completely ridiculous. But I did watch the Let's Plays for Sister Location. Now, I don't, like, rewatching it, I remember Sister Location being a lot scarier. Like especially that first night when you, like, shock things in the distance and you never really get a clear look at, like, Baby in the beginning and stuff like that. That stuff is cool. It's a cool new idea, right? However, the limitation of how the game is constructed in this, like, weird, whatchamacallit, in this weird, it is always this weird first person, yet at the same time 2.5D type gameplay, right? And I always found that restricted a bit of the game. But nowadays I do recognize where that quality is interesting and why people liked it that so much. However, I also think that over time, after Sister Location, I did not pay attention. I did not pay attention to Pizza Simulator or the Ultimate Custom Night. I knew of their existence, but I didn't really, like, pay attention. I think I might have watched a MatPat video or two, but for the rest, like, I was not engaged with the franchise anymore up at that point. I did not care. At that point, the FNAF fandom also, you know, outside of promoting the cringy books, I didn't really see much of them, and therefore wasn't too engaged with that anymore. But the ideas was always cool, you know. And I will always respect FNAF for its contribution to like fan theories and stuff like that it's done over the years, because those are still really kick-ass and really cool if you think about it. The whole idea of a community basically built on Let's Players, reactors, theorizers, and stuff like that, and people being able to make disposable income off of it, that is kick-ass to me, I think. That's a true internet moment, right? Where a whole bunch of people were able to create their whole, not identity, but at least a very big part of their social circles around a game about an animatronic, like, killing machine incident. However, I do think it's, as more lore got revealed, you have the inevitable issue that most slasher movies have, is that you know too much. Once you know that what the killer's name is, it starts becoming more about like the esoteric lore things, and like about plot holes and like trying to fit stuff on a timeline. Well, we kind of lose what the game had going for it in its initial state, which is like it's about content animatronics, and their whole deal is that they, you know, want to get you as the night guard. And why are they here? Why are they trying to kill you? Well, you don't know that, but you'll have to find out. Well, how? By playing more of the game. It kind of gets lost once you start talking about like all the timeline differences, that which soul is in which baby. It all gets a little convoluted at the end, right? And you start losing the whole what is creepy about it. Oh, it's Stranger Danger meets Uncanny Valley, but now it's like cyber robots and crazy bullshit. And it's not a bad thing necessarily, because of course it's not bad, but like it is just interesting to see how that series evolved in that way. Well, something like, let's say, trying to think of something, because there isn't really a franchise like FNAF. FNAF was so encroached as well with its creator, like Scott Cawthon, the developer. He is the franchise, but now he's left due to controversial, what was it, like expenditures, I think, that he did a while back. And now it's all on Steel Wool, because either he sold the IP or he's just like taking a back seat to it, which, hey, I've been creating these games for years, might as well take a little break, right? So I wonder what that's like for him, having to now give up that throne of his with the franchise he created. At the same time, it's a burden off his shoulder. It's the perfect out, right? Think about it. If you're a game developer and you have this game that you've been like over 10 years making games for, and you kind of just want to stop, what is the best way to stop? End with a controversy in which you can still leave the IP in a good enough state, because you'll be able to just give the IP to someone else, saying like, okay, it is not too controversial that people like the IP. Your feelings with it are still valid, because you could just go on to what you call it, to support it under a new name and under new management that is way more in line, hopefully, with what you guys stand for. And I'm just going to quietly take my leave and leave you guys to it, because you guys confuse me, right? That's the least, that's like the very much the nicest take for it I can give. It's like, oh, well, at least he didn't like make it an ego thing where it's like, but I created the franchise, therefore I should be I should be the law and stuff like that. No, he just quietly did not need the Twitter shit, which he probably got, I think. I don't know. I have zero information on all the things I say, by the way. I'm just shit talking because that is part of my job. But that was a very interesting video on the FNAF storyline. What is also, okay, one of the coolest things, right? Well, again, why FNAF 3, I found FNAF 3 so great when it came out, right? Is in the first night, nothing happens. The first night is a total red herring, because they don't have an animatronic yet, right? A lot of Let's Players back in the day, like say Markiplier, their first playthrough of FNAF 3, they were all expecting and like checking the fence and kind of making themselves paranoid by like, what are we looking for? What are we looking for? What's the mechanic? What do we have to do? Ah, the vents are going off. What can we do? But in the game, there's nothing after you, so it's just there to make you accustomed to it. But you're so used to, in FNAF 1, FNAF 2, like immediately having to do shit that, it catches you off guard, and it gives that extra creepiness. Same thing that Sister Location did. And that stuff, works. It creates tension. It creates fear. It's different. It's different than Security Breach, which is just not that scary at all. It's Security Breach is a fun game, but it's just I've been obsessed with it. I've been obsessed lately with Security Breach since it's been popping up on my YouTube still. I've watched multiple playthroughs, and I just think it's sad. It's a great idea. It's a little sad that the game isn't wholly there yet. And the TikToks talking about like how the game has just been totally changed since its like first trailer. That like in the last year or so, there's like a totally different development that you can see for the game over time. It's kind of sad. Like the game idea totally changed. It went from a game about, oh god, I'm not gonna be shot, right? Put that there. Put that there so I don't get shot. Okay, so how Security Breach is just, it's not a scary game. I do love a few things about it though. But really love. Like I love Roxy. That character is great. That character design, I love her design. I love her personality and stuff like that. She has the most personality, I would say, to me, from the new like enemy animatronics. Like Monty is just a killer croc. He's kind of cool dude. But once he gets killed, he's a little more interesting because then he's like all in pain on the floor. There's only half of him left. Like that's kind of cool if you think about it. Chica is just boring, but Roxy is the main villain to me for most of the game. Like more than the Vanessa character, because they just the Vanny character, because they just drew her out the game. She's like only in like one segment and then she's gone. It's ridiculous. And then you have Afton at the end who returns, and I'm split about it. I don't know. I don't really like it because it gives the lore implication that like either FNAF 6 did work or it did not work, but he's still in the suit, but the suit looks better than it did at the end there, even though his redesign was already terrible. And his redesign now is still not that great. It's better than FNAF 6 only because the modeler that did it is probably a little better. But I don't know. Springtrap's design in 3 has always been the better one for some reason. Because the body that's inside just has way more agony, and you have way more of that uncanny like Iron Maiden sort of deal going on. Whilst with the new Security Breach Afton, he just looks, you just see his mouth, so it's just like a suit he's wearing. I don't know. I don't care for it too much. I would have liked a bulkier design where his body is still in it, but he's like his jaw's maybe a little bit more unhinged so you can see it, and he's still like he has way too many teeth. He has a full set of teeth and stuff like that. Him missing a lot of teeth and stuff like that in his Springtrap design is what makes it kind of creepy, because it's like, holy crap, this is like a decaying corpse with parts missing. You know? What am I even going on about? Oh yeah, I'm going on about how like the design of FNAF 3 is just that good compared to Security Breach's interpretation of the design. But it's still better than 6, so therefore, way to go, guys. Yeah, just also gameplay-wise, it seems a little buggy. A lot really buggy. From time to time. It's also the reason I don't really want to play it, because it's just like, okay, I could probably play through it, but do I want to get frustrated with an Alien Isolation type game that doesn't work, right? Like, let's be honest. Like I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to subject myself to that pain. Oh, no. Let's get 2 more of those. Put those in the box. Put that in the thing. Add some more sticks, and let's go back to the basement. Move that so I can enter my chest really easily. Let's go back into the mine. And let's watch the second video of our night, Slenderman Games, a retrospective. Now let me just add that to the stream list. Stream list, girl boss. Change that. Play that.
Forest. It's
How loud is that?
It's a little spooky. It's October. Kind of reminds me of
Oh, I hear Thunder the Rival music.
that game.
That's interesting.
Slender, the 8 pages. What?
So sad that franchise died, because that was a great creepypasta when it came out. I am sad that that game just kind of sucked.
Welcome back, and happy almost Halloween. Today, as voted on by my patrons, we're doing an in-depth video about all of the different Slender games, or at least the ones that I think have the most cultural impact and importance to the development of the Slender Man character. But first, let's try and get on the same page. Now, most of you probably already know this, but it's worth setting up. Slender Man is a creepypasta turned full-on urban myth. His abilities and appearance vary, but most commonly he's known as a tall, thin man in a suit with white skin and no face. He has supernatural abilities that he uses to stalk his prey and drive them insane. Or at least that's the basics. To understand the Slender Man character more, we're going to need to talk about some internet history.
Ooh, let's go legend. Hell yeah.
As many of you know, the Slender Man character was created by Eric Knudsen, aka by his online pseudonym, Victor Surge. He first appeared on the Something Awful forums in 2009 on a contest for supernatural and spooky photoshops. The Slender Man quickly grew attention, having a whole backstory included, and the eerie quality of the photos making things seem unsettlingly real. The Slender Man was always just in the background, and the image quality was just low enough that you weren't sure what you were looking at.
That's fucking terrifying.
Victor Surge created the character using inspiration from Lovecraftian stories, particularly with the inclusion of Slender Man sprouting tentacles, the Mothman legend, and the work of Zach Parsons,
the Mothman,
on Something Awful. Slender Man is not.
I'm thinking Goatman,
and it's clear to see other characters similar to him in popular media. The biggest to me that stands out being Michael Myers, the white-faced pure force of evil incarnate stalking his victims in the night. Now, exactly who or what Slender Man is or what his abilities are varies from person to person. His adaptations have taken on a life of their own.
Oh, what in the ass is this?
Teleport and has the ability to sprout tentacles. Early on, he was very violent, stringing people's organs up in the trees and giving them slender sickness, a combination of paranoia, nausea, and bleeding. As more people expanded the lore and interpreted the character, especially with the likes of Marble Hornets, the ability to recruit proxies and cause distortions to
that's when the shit became stupid.
There's a school of thought surrounding the Slender character known as Surgism, which looks to only follow the lore officially set by the creator himself, but at this point, Slender Man has a life of his own. Nowadays, Slender Man is not as much of the cultural icon as he used to be. He's still recognizable, but
what is all this crap?
Used as the butt of jokes nowadays.
Yeah.
Mama's so stupid. She got ripped apart by Slender.
Part of this is due to the sort of cringy subculture he existed in, with a lot of creepypastas, and then, you know, the oversaturation of him making him less scary with things like Splendor Man. But the thing that really killed
Splendor Man, what's that?
Technically, the 2018 Slender Man movie was not the first Slender movie. Always Watching was a 2015 feature-length film created based on the Marble Hornets web series, but that movie was critically panned. Slender Man 2018 was doomed from the start, but it didn't help that it was a terrible movie. See, by the time the movie came out in 2018, Slender Man was
already
past
stupid.
His prime, and the real-life tragedy associated with the character, the 2014
oh yeah,
shit. Wisconsin, which was
I forgot about that.
Fatal, meant Slender Man was definitely a tricky topic to cover in a mainstream movie. And then the trailers come out, and it's about a bunch of teenage girls. Not a good look, even including a scene in the trailer where a girl stabs herself. In fact, it was such a bad look that many theaters, especially those
that's
in
really
some
bad
areas of
optics.
Wisconsin, banned the movie from playing at all.
Yeah, no
Again,
shit.
It's not like the movie was any good. So along with the terrible PR, terrible content, and the
what the hell is this stuff?
Probably 5 or 6 years too late, Slender Man is basically
cobbled
history.
deep slate.
But there's a part of the character that I haven't even talked about yet. Part of Slender Man
They're really annoying to
probably
dig
had
through.
The most cultural impact of anything and changed indie horror and games forever. The Slender Man games.
Oh shit! There's what is this? A sea? It's an underwater cave. What the fuck?
Shit.
That's odd. Oh, listen to that droning noise. Holy crap.
Parsec Productions, run by Mark Hadley, releases Slender, the 8 pages.
The
It's
best
very simple
game.
on release. No menu, just a darkness and then a forest. Quiet forest ambience plays in the darkness, lit only by a small flashlight. One simple message. Collect all
Oh, I
8
hate
pages.
that game
So
so much. It's exactly.
What this game did for the modern Let's Play format cannot be overstated. Pretty much all of the conventions of the Let's Play format were formed during this time through this game. The game was
True.
easily accessible, being extremely simple with low graphics, meaning almost anyone could hop on and record themselves getting scared shitless. It was made for easy content from a creator side. You don't even need to be good at carrying the viewer's attention through interesting commentary.
True.
Just scream when the white man pops on screen.
Scream when the white man.
The scary reality
There's some commentary there. I'm not gonna get into it.
parts of Let's Play formatting today, like the face cam. People wanted to see you scream when the scary man popped up. This accessibility
True.
really is the strength of Slender the 8 Pages and why it was so successful. Gameplay content wasn't just commentary videos over Black Ops 2 gameplay. Anyone could make a Let's Play and be entertaining, and everyone wanted to. It was like Pokemon Go. Everyone wanted to be a part of the current cultural moment. Now, of course, this game didn't create the Let's Play format. Amnesia is an even earlier example of the scary game Let's Play format, but Slender popularized it and ended up boosting the careers of household names in the gaming world like Markiplier and PewDiePie. Slender is, in my view, one of the last viral sensations. Sure, other games have come along like FNAF, but they're more insular in a way that Slender the 8 Pages wasn't. Slender infiltrated every community and was at the tail end of when things could go viral on the internet. We're not really at a point where viral is a thing anymore. Things get hundreds of millions of views all the time that nobody knows anything about because their communities are so separate. But Slender really was
I suppose.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Now,
true.
eventually,
Think
the
about
game
it.
added a
I didn't
menu
think.
with links to more lore about the Slender Man like Marble Hornets and
Wait,
added
really?
some other modes like
Really? There's more shit?
But essentially the game stays the same. You must walk from
Oh,
landmark
man.
to landmark in a
That's
forest
that
park
brings me
looking
back.
for 8 pages as Slenderman stalks you. Slenderman gets more aggressive as you collect more pages, and your flashlight slowly gets dimmer, and if you get too close or look at him for too long, you're dead. Very simple and very effective to a point. Like I said, Slender the 8 Pages is great to watch. Getting on with some friends and taking turns getting scared on some dark night, or just watching your favorite
The first
YouTubers
time
scream
mainly,
every time
yeah.
the Vine boom sound effect plays, or even just
Yeah.
playing it by yourself can be really scary and effective.
It's not scary. It's startling. Although no, the yeah.
Sounds really draws you in, and as the ambience stacks, it really builds the tension. It's great, but actually trying to beat it as something other than just a quick spook, it is not fun. Once you get the formula and can see past the spooky sounds and silhouette, it's actually really frustrating and is the beginning of a problem a lot of Slender games have. The formula is really simple, and a part of that is a strength, but it's also a weakness. Trying to make something so
Just
simple
really annoying.
can lead to problems. It's possible to do effectively, but the 8 Pages does not. See, navigating around the Slenderman is actually pretty easy after you begin to understand the mechanics, and that makes you lose a lot of the fear. So how do they keep it difficult? The flashlight. It is nearly impossible
To see any
anything
shit.
without the
Oh
flashlight.
god.
It adds tension in the beginning, but if you actually want to try and beat the game, it adds a whole nother level of frustration. As you play, the flashlight gets dimmer, and by page 5, it's nearly useless. Add to that the fact that the map is huge and every single tree is the exact same asset.
I forgot
and you
my
end up
stones.
Completely lost and unable to navigate anything. I had a map of the game on my phone while I was playing and still found myself completely disoriented.
Yeah.
So instead of being
And it
scared
felt like
or
cheating if you tried to use the map
challenged,
too back in the
you
day,
just
so
give
you're
up
really
because there's no way to
discouraged from it,
salvage
even
your
though
run,
it's like
and you just
the
end
best
up
way
going
to
the
get it.
Slenderman yourself to end it. So as
True.
a fun experimental horror project, it's great. As a full game, not so much. But the concept was easy to replicate. and very
Fuck!
interesting,
Fuck!
and of course
Shit!
no one
Shit!
loves
Shit!
the
Shit!
of
Shit!
What's currently popular. It
Ow.
led to an explosion of
Holy
iterative
crap.
fan games, which at this point is a staple for any successful indie game. FNAF, Baldi's, Undertale.
Oh my
all
god,
had
that scared the
huge
crap
fan
out of
game
me.
scenes.
Sorry.
And Slender is what kicked
Oh
off
god.
this custom, using the same format and concept but adding a twist or your own spin or sometimes straight up copying it. Some of them were shitty, that's true, but others legitimately improved upon the concept. Which moves us
True.
to our next game, Slenderman Shadow.
What? There's more?
Now, as far as I can tell, Slenderman Shadow was first created using FPS Creator. It's an old
What?
game development suite that was very janky and eventually turned into a sequel called Game Guru. I used FPS Creator a lot when I was younger,
Oh.
so when I saw some old videos on Slenderman Shadow, I recognized all those assets, that lighting engine and that walk cycle. I recognized that menu backdrop anywhere. There
Holy
were some
crap.
pretty good horror games made on FPS Creator if I remember correctly.
Oh my
I
god,
kinda
game
miss that
developing is
vibe,
easy.
almost
It's,
similar to
it's
the
not
Source
easy,
game
no,
feel.
it's not easy
It
at all,
looks
but like it's
Slenderman
interesting.
Shadow was released with each map separately created on FPS Creator, but eventually the game was ported to Unity with all the maps. Slenderman Shadow was great for Let's Players. Like I said, each map was released individually, so there was some hype buildup and a good amount of content spaced out, for each new release that someone could make an episode on. FNAF did something very similar with all its sequels coming out so quickly in the beginning. It was the same easy formula to make content for. They were much higher quality than the other Slender fan games at the time, and the content just kept on coming. Now, as a game, I think Slenderman Shadow improves a lot from the 8 pages. The maps are a little more maze-like and less open, which removes the annoyance of the forest from the 8 pages and focuses the fear of the bathroom area from the 8 pages, which I think we can all agree is the scariest part. Each map changes things up a little, enough to keep it fresh. Teddy bears, keys, there's voice acting this time, it's Santa, it's fun. The flashlight is really where it improves the most, though. The FOV is very low, which is annoying at times. It feels like you have tunnel vision.
If it's not 90 FOV, just throw the whole thing in the garbage.
But the actual mechanic.
Not gonna lie,
If you leave the light on for too long, it turns itself off and has to recharge before you can turn it back on. It's possible to get around without the light, but seeing pages is impossible, and keeping track of Slenderman is really difficult, so it actually adds an interesting level of balance to the gameplay. Oh, and the glow sticks are fun. It's not without flaws. There are definitely times where Slenderman gets you and you go, what? Again, trying to add difficulty to this concept is a little hard, so in this case, a lot of the times it feels like Slenderman just teleports directly in front of you or gets you through a wall. If they had added a mechanic where the flashlight actually has an effect on Slenderman...
I didn't even know there would have any Slenderman games. Holy shit.
It isn't perfect, but it definitely has more total playtime of having fun
I didn't know that.
Slender the 8 pages.
Huh.
What Slenderman Shadow really did, though, was show people that the Slenderman concept could be more than just 5 quick minutes of gameplay. And little sprinkles of voice acting and story showed that there was more to this concept. And with that introduction, Haunted Memories took it full throttle.
Haunted Memories? Oh, I remember that game!
Originally
Holy
released as
crap!
The real Slender game. This game
Yes!
was amazing, especially for the time. This was before the era of
The
Unreal
game
Engine
looked
4 games that take minimal effort to create something that looks decent. So clearly, a lot of work went into this apparent overhaul of the original concept. It also added new mechanics like the
I
portfolio
remember
and
that
flashlight
music. Oh
batteries.
god,
Eventually,
this is
inspired
nostalgia
by the
heaven.
announcement of Slender the Arrival, the game was changed to Haunted Memories to avoid issues with the real Slender game title, and was overhauled again. The original demo was modified and turned into Chapter 1 of what was supposed to become a long series of narrative chapters. This game really impressed people. It felt different from other Slender games at the time, and because there was no real AAA alternative to a Slender game at the time, the quality and the promise of this game really made an impact.
Oh my god.
And it didn't
it had a
take long for
great
Haunted
music.
Memories
I think
version of the
Haunted
game to be
I think
greenlit on
Haunted
Steam.
Memories had also like this
Really
musical
good
number in it
reference
that
to
was
what
just
a really
okay,
high-quality
shut the fuck
narrative
up. Shut the
Slender
fuck
game
up.
could
I'm
look
talking.
like.
I'm talking. This is my stream. I talk. No, I wanted to say like Haunted Memories, if I remember correctly, had a great like musical number inside of it that was just like really great. This is nostalgia bait. I swear to God. But I remember it having this musical number inside of it, and the musical number was just like really good. It was, I think, this kind of country guitar sound thing. It felt like the end of a movie, sort of like, you remember like if you would have like a movie and have like a sad sort of like bittersweet ending, and you'd have an interesting song for it. That's what it sounded like, if I remember correctly. But, memories. I totally forgot. It's like, it's memory lane for me. I love how now the mid 2010s are kind of becoming like a nostalgic age. It's kind of cute. It's like I get to have a quarter life crisis and listen to stuff I vaguely remember from back in the day. It's cute. I like it. This is interesting, to me at least. Wait, let me get that apple. I want that apple. It's my apple. Yeah, holy crap. I didn't even know that. Let's go down, 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 down. Going down, very down. Going down. Look at me going down. Nah. Put that in the chest. Burn that in the chest. Back to watching streams.
Unfortunately, after only 2 chapters, Haunted Memories was abandoned by the developers.
Boo!
I feel like the game just added too much and it was hard to juggle it all. It also attempted to establish an origin for the Slenderman, which ended up being received fairly poorly. Slenderman's backstory in this game is essentially a man named Mark Slender. He was burned by
Mark Slender
in a bunker, and I guess he turned into the Slenderman.
Lol.
What it attempts. It really seemed like the making of a AAA quality horror game, and the graphics and atmosphere are amazing.
Oh shit.
especially looking
Oh
at other
shit.
Slender
Oh
games at
shit.
the time. And playing it for a little bit of time definitely shows that the concept can be effective. Haunted Memories showed that there was more to be done with the concept, and showed that there was a real quality to be found in the Slender format, a way of expanding even further.
The first game wasn't that
Its
great, not gonna
lifetime
lie.
was short, but where it left off, Slender the Arrival picked up.
Yeah, Slender the Arrival. I remember that one. Overrated. Not that good.
Developed by Blue Isle Studios in collaboration
In my
with
opinion.
Mark
Ah!
Hamill and Victor Surge, Slender the Arrival
No!
was the official game adaptation, as you know, the creator was involved, and the official sequel to Slender the Eight Pages.
I will not
An
die.
actual full studio production for a Slender game, promising a full story, a full experience. And Mark Hadley, aka Parsec Productions, was back on the audio. Arguably, the ambience of Slender
I
the Eight
forgot
Pages
that.
was one of the most iconic and most effective parts about it, so the entire original soundtrack for The Arrival was composed by Mark Hadley. While Slender the Arrival
was
did
really?
not get the same explosive reaction as Slender the Eight Pages, this is definitely the second most famous Slender game. Everyone who you imagine would have played it probably did. It definitely created a splash in the horror Let's Play scene as an official AAA horror title based on the biggest horror sensation in years that came from an indie background. This game is the definition of a mixed bag. I will say this, when it comes to applying a narrative to Slender games, The Arrival definitely did the best job. That's not to say it was perfect, but it was a narrative
That
was
middle
followable
section
and had a
just
pretty
was
clearly defined
terrible, if I
beginning,
remember
middle, and
correctly.
end. Essentially, the game takes place right after Slender the Eight Pages, or partially in parallel. You play as the best friend of Kate, the girl from Slender the Eight Pages, trying to track her down.
Oh,
Interestingly,
was there a main character in?
you can hear a scream that is also supposed to be Kate, or whatever the name of the Eight Pages girl in that game is supposed to be. You follow this narrative by trekking through legitimately beautiful environments and sometimes watching old tapes from other people, like Kate herself. When it comes to
I remember that game
presentation,
had
this
DLC,
does not
right?
lack. The music and ambience is fantastic. The sound effects are, for the most part, really spooky.
What is
The
this
graphics,
place?
Even all these years later, and with the relatively small budget, still hold up because they have a very specific style. It's not that they're cartoonish, but it relies heavily on cinematic lighting that still looks great. This game does, however, fall back on a lot of the same stuff. Each section is essentially a derivative of Collect All 8 Pages, from pages to
Yeah.
generators to windows and doors.
Generator!
Despite being barely 2 hours, it definitely feels repetitive.
Holy
Each
crap.
section thematically feels unique, but it can definitely get a bit frustrating. Some of the concepts are fun. I like the Kate tape, and the generator room one. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. I think this generator level perfectly encapsulates the game. When I first played this section, I was legitimately terrified.
It's just wandering in a place with an enemy that also just... What the fuck? This is seriously fucking me up right now.
No!
I'm actually so scared. I hate this. Holy shit.
Piss off.
Ah, hey man.
Essentially, to power up an elevator, you must explore a facility and turn on the generators.
And then
Inside,
the-
one of Slender's proxies chases you, who you can stun by focusing the flashlight's
And that's
beam
Kate,
on.
right?
Now, that
Is that
isn't
supposed to be
super
Kate?
difficult on its own, although that sort of free roamish chase sequence setup is definitely one of the most tense formats in a horror game for me personally. But Slenderman is also around, becoming more active as you turn on more generators, cutting off your escape routes from the proxy. And like I said, my first attempt at this sequence, I was scared as shit. But after the second or third attempt, while still stressful, I started getting flashbacks to Slender the Eight Pages and Slenderman Shadow. This sequence could have been relatively easy, but still terrifying and a memorable part of the game. But instead, to pad the game's already short runtime, they do the thing I was talking about before, making the game frustratingly unfair to make it more difficult. Slenderman can basically just teleport directly in front of you at any time, ending your run, or cornering you without any way to escape. And it's always right when you're at the end, so your failed attempts are drawn out until the end, making everything just take way longer as you try to get back to where you were when you failed the last time. It's really disappointing because I was stunned by how effective it was on a first run. But it quickly became frustrating when I realized, oh, it's just gonna get unfair at the very end every time to extend the game's length.
I was really... If I would have beat it the first time, I would have been like, this section was really good. But I'm just now realizing how, like, annoying they set this up.
On the flip side of that, though, the opening 8 pages sequence has the opposite problem. While definitely less annoying than the actual 8 pages game to beat, it's still easy to get lost, and some landmarks don't even have pages, or at least not in any place that were easy to find. So the actual gameplay part of this is frustrating and sort of boring, but thank God, if you take too long to find all the pages, it just ends the section prematurely and you're able to move on, so at least they understand.
Wait, really?
I think the most disappointing
I didn't know that.
is the ending. It's sort of anticlimactic. I get they were trying to go in maybe a cliffhanger ending direction, but it felt like it either should have ended 20 minutes ago or had an extra 30 minutes. Most of the issues I had with the game were shared by other people. The reception was mixed, with it definitely being the best of its breed, but still having a slew of issues, not the least of which were bugs and polish issues. In the end, though, I still think Slender the Arrival is probably the best of the bunch. It's not perfect, but it is the official adaptation, and it's pretty effective, and its longer playtime means it's a nice dark night that you can play through with some friends. It's not perfect, but it's one of the more effective adaptations of the Slenderman concept. And being official, I feel like there wasn't a lot else to be said about Slenderman, and Slender the Arrival was like the first nail in Slenderman's coffin. It still wasn't the end yet, though.
Really? There's more? Slender Rising. Now it's like, how much do I remember from gameplay videos back in the day?
Slender Rising is a mobile adaptation of a Slender game, and honestly, it's pretty good. It was made on the Unreal Engine before the days of Unreal Engine 4, so that was still a pretty rare thing.
Unreal 3? Holy crap. I remember Unreal 3. Unreal Development Kit. Oh god, I hated that thing, because it was really hard to work with, but I felt like I could learn it.
Pages or signs and a fun little escape Slender mechanic where you have to swipe on the screen. The graphics are good for a mobile game, but aren't flashy. It has good audio, good atmosphere, it's fun and spooky, and that's really all you need from a Slender game. I saw in some of the reviews that people wanted the day mode removed, but honestly, I like the day mode better. It's a really creepy Silent Hill vibe. I don't know, I just think people should take a look back at it. I remember a lot of nostalgia from this game back in 2013, and it's still pretty fun.
2013? Holy crap.
So what do I think of the games review-wise, I guess? I think the two best games here are Slender the Arrival and Slender Rising. While the Arrival does have some issues, it is the most definitive adaptation and has a level of qualities the others just don't. And Slender Rising is a really quick and effective Slender game that has just a unique enough feel to feel refreshing in a way with some of the controls and the escape gimmick.
It's also that his like design is so simple, it only works well in like highly post-processed photos.
The 8 pages is iconic, of course, but the fact that it was the first experiment with this really shows. It did not have the privilege of seeing what did and did not work. And Haunted Memories is a good concept, but it feels a little convoluted, and of course it was never finished. Many of them work well for a good scare, but the Arrival takes a bit more commitment. Slenderman Shadow is a much more streamlined adaptation, while the 8 pages is definitely a classic. Haunted Memories is more if you're looking for good atmosphere and an example of what could be done with the concept, and Slender Rising is perfect for just a quick spook. Now, despite the varying degrees of quality of these games, Slenderman is still a very important character in gaming as a whole. He changed the face of what gaming and gaming online looks like. On YouTube, while Amnesia was an early contender, Slender the 8 Pages was what kicked off the horror game Let's Play scene, and arguably the entirety of the Let's Play scene as we know it. Facecam and a longer form format that benefited from the game being based on a run instead of the reaction compilation style videos.
Although those did came back.
Was formed by Slender, and while collectathons aren't wholly unique, the specific Slender formula has completely changed the face of indie horror forever. From more direct adaptations like Slendytubbies to games that are from completely unrelated concepts like Baldi's Basics and The Joy of Creation, the formula was so effective that it spread into every.
I keep hearing about Joy of Creation. Is that a FNAF game?
Slenderman has moved on past even the height of its cringe. Even as the butt of the joke, he's not really around. Slenderman is not just past his prime, out of the spotlight. He's left the building, packed up and gone home for the most part.
He's retired.
Clearly not without a legacy. I think it's more fair to say that if there was a Mount Rushmore of horror characters, Slenderman would definitely be up there. Although I guess that would just be an oblong shape at that point, like an egg.
Eggo. I hate this. Whatever the fuck I'm mining through, I hate it, by the way.
Being past his prime, I still think the Slenderman is a very effective.
Why does it take as long as cobblestone?
From that time. Thank you for sticking with me, and happy almost Halloween. I've got a big project dropping on Halloween. You can also check out my second channel and my Twitch and Twitter.
This was a great little video, not gonna lie.
About when I'm streaming. So yeah, I will see you all next time.
So let's all take a shout out to the Sagan Hawks. Oh, the jump scare at the end. No, let's all take a moment to appreciate this game, by the way.
Thank you to the patrons for supporting.
No, you don't.
Thank you to the patrons for supporting the channel.
Oh God, of course it. Like, ugh, no.
It sure is chilly out in this forest.
Wait, let me take a look.
It's nighttime and it's
kind of mask.
A little spooky. Thank you to the.
That I do wonder. Let's talk about the Slender video for a while. Interesting. Interesting. I did not know Slender went on that long after its initial after its initial reach of content. I thought Slender died off way sooner. And at the same time, it's like after Arrival, it only had that one game. So I'm at the same time like, oh, there's more than I thought, and at the same time like, oh my god, that was it. I remember Slender having a way better and bigger impact for some reason, but no, apparently it's just like what was that, like 5 games, 5-ish, 6-ish games, and then it's the spin-offs mainly, right? It's all the things that are not really Slender but kind of Slender, like Sunday Tubbies and all that stuff. So interesting how that formed, and the format was also. I would say the problem with Slender was that there was all you could do is die, and then it's a jump scare, and that's it. And I think that's probably a little bit part of the issue with a lot of horror games is once the thing gets you, you just die, and not that you need a way to fight back, but like you need to be able to do something, because if the punishment is just the game resets, then it's just a loss of progress. And that's what I think makes games that focus more on like atmospheric horror better. Because it makes them interesting. It makes them more mechanically challenging. The dread is more the thing you play for. It's that stressed feeling that the game can give you. That's more interesting than just, you know, what the fuck is this place? Look at all this. Look at all this crap. Ugh. How long does this span? Anyway. Yeah, it's just insane to know that mid 2010s is now becoming a nostalgic era. It's weird. It doesn't feel like so long ago. For the last, I guess I just haven't felt connected to the last few years. You know. Maybe it's also part of the the plague. The plague kind of makes it so that we start looking back maybe a bit quicker than was originally anticipated or was originally the idea for most. Jesus Christ. Oh. So what's this video? The Downfall of Hello Neighbor, a game I remember, but then it just kind of disappeared as far as I know. Take a look.
Patrons for supporting the channel.
See if the stream is still running correctly. Yes.
About this game.
Yeah.
Something wrong.
Let's add this
The
to the...
developers, the alphas, the final game. Something in the background of it all. Something strange. Something that lies beneath so much more. As I've continued my research, things have only gotten stranger, and I wonder, am I going mad? Is there really some grand conspiracy? Or is it in my head? These connections, these games, it can't all be a coincidence. I feel trapped in this house, in this room. I haven't seen the light of day in weeks. I haven't gone out to eat, spoken to a friend, or even said hello to a neighbor. Wait. Say that again.
Yeah. Hello to a neighbor.
Hello, neighbor? Welcome back, everyone. Today, as voted on by my patrons, we're talking about Hello Neighbor's Fall from Grace.
Yeah.
From one of the most recognizable names in indie horror to, well, this. But first, let's get something out of the way. yes, I am going to be making a video about Security Breach, and it's probably going to be pretty big. But it won't be out for a little while longer.
Boo!
Secrets and
I'm laughing. I'm just
theories.
kidding.
The game is so new. We're still trying to figure out what
need to
it all
eat. Need to
means.
eat.
Give
My
me a
cooked
couple more
mutton.
weeks for the game to settle in and for me to make a video about it. But it is coming soon. So if you want to be notified for when that video drops, you could subscribe. You could also follow me on my Twitch, my Twitter, and my second channel, where I already have a more brief video about Security Breach.
Oh!
And my Spotify for music projects.
Oh, might have to
Okay,
check that out in a moment because I
When
want to
put
check
this
that
up as
out.
an option for my patrons to vote on, I really did not expect to see it be chosen. People have been asking for Marble Hornets for a long time, and so I was genuinely surprised when Hello Neighbor
Well,
beat
it's,
it
you
out
know,
by
a
quite a bit.
little bit of
And I
difference.
still plan on making a Marble Hornets video, don't worry. Now, I'll be honest, I was never really into Hello Neighbor, and especially recently, I've always had just a mildly negative opinion about it.
Oh,
It just
really?
seemed like another indie horror game for kids that didn't have a lot of substance. But when I started doing research for this video, I found that there actually is a lot to talk about. It's just not all good. Hello Neighbor
Oof.
is to me a perfect example of so many of the pitfalls of post-FNAF indie horror games. And when looking at the general indie horror landscape, you can tell there is a clear dividing line in how developers create, market, and update their games before the first 2 FNAF games and after the first 2 FNAF games.
I think, like,
Post
yeah,
2014
quick
indie
releases,
horror was
right?
changed in a lot of good ways by FNAF, with so many new developers learning to make games because of Five Nights at Freddy's. But it also shifted the way many developers felt they needed to market and create their games, which is something we'll talk a lot about in this video with Hello Neighbor. But I
Interesting.
just want you to keep in mind this post-2014 dividing line. To put it simply, this video is about Hello Neighbor's downfall, how the game embraced its worst aspects and put aside what made it unique in order to chase after this newly invigorated horror games for kids audience, putting aside gameplay for lore and making decisions in service of that new direction that are absolutely baffling. That's the TDLR. But there is so much to talk about in the details that I'm really excited to get into, from the earliest aspects of development to the expanded franchise of books, a television pilot, and even a board game.
That's
so let's get into it.
Why does it have a board game? What? Really? Not against it, like, okay, people make money, but at the same time, like,
ratio, we have to look at who made it and what their background is. Developed by Dynamic Pixels, now Eerie Guest Studio, and published by Tiny Build, the game started development around 2013 to 2014. But before Hello Neighbor, both Tiny Build and Dynamic Pixels had worked on other projects. In Dynamic Pixels' now outdated site, they describe themselves as an independent and young at heart team of highly skilled game developers, and we create games for kids and kidults.
What?
The most popular games which we create are Tamagotchi-style games, but we like to experiment from time to time and explore other genres. And so, sometimes from our keyboards, mouses, and Wacom quills, we put out something more
Wacom quills.
hardcore. Their website's actually pretty nice. I like it. It has a good sense of humor. As it implies, though, they specialized in family-friendly mobile games like the Musim games, Hungry Cats,
I'm
and
at
various other
Bedrock!
simple arcadey mobile games. It's important to
Woo!
note this history, however, because it does tie into my point about this whole post-FNAF horror for kids trend. Tiny Build has a slightly more prolific career as a game publisher. Games they've published.
How the hell do I
Hello
find
Neighbor,
Diamond with
Lovely
this
Planet,
terrible-
Cluster Truck, Party Hard, Guts and Glory, things like that. Because of their experience publishing and promoting multiple indie games that were relatively popular with indie Let's Players at the time, this put them in a pretty good position when it came to publishing a new indie horror title like Hello Neighbor. And post Hello Neighbor, Tiny Build has embraced plenty more horror games like Expedition Zero and I think most interestingly, Happy's Humble Burger Farm. There is no way you can tell me that this game is not a direct result of the success of Five Nights at Freddy's. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think it's a fun idea, and the gameplay definitely sets it apart. But where Tiny Build is concerned, I don't think that matters as much. What matters
Well, that looks
is the
terrifying.
name and the look of these characters. Bright, recognizable mascots that are the face of the game. It's something so many horror games post-FNAF are utilizing. An early example of this is something like 123 Slaughter Me Street, or less popularly My Game Alphabet Lane, Emily Wants to Play, or Bendy and the Ink Machine. But there are tons of other games more.
I didn't even know there were that many games. Holy
Poppy's
shit.
Playtime, Andy's Apple Farm in itself, I think, pretty clearly inspired by the Walton Files, which is in itself a FNAF-inspired series. And I think you could argue something like Baldi's Basics benefits from this, despite being closer inspired by old educational PC games. It's not that a recognizable villain is some new innovation started by FNAF, but I think there's a very clear post-FNAF genre you can cleanly fit a lot of current indie horror games into. And they take more than just the look of the characters too. The focus on complex lore and sometimes kneecapping their own stories or aesthetics in order to keep it more child-friendly. Many times this can be to their detriment, like Poppy's Playtime's lore NFTs. And I think
There's lore
I would argue that
NFTs?
modern FNAF even shifted into its
Oh,
own cliche that
God,
it created, leaning into
there's
the horror games for
lore
kids aspect a lot,
NFTs?
the extra colorful,
That's
cartoonish characters in the new game.
Oh, so there's an opening now for real horror that's like hardcore R-rated. Okay,
Point is,
good to
Tiny
know
Build
that.
Clearly recognize this trend too, even sponsoring Let's Players, who are a great way to find this target demographic.
That is
To
true.
play the game. They understand the potential of finding the audience that really eats up that post-FNAF, deep lore, cartoony character genre. And while leaning into that genre can be good, if your concept suffers because of it, well, that's not good. And I believe that's what we see happening with Hello Neighbor. So there you go, some background and context about the developers of the game. Now let's talk about the actual development of the game, starting with the early
God, I
concept.
hate this. God, I hate digging in this area. This is so boring.
As I said, the game started its development between 2013 and 2014. During this time, the big horror games were things like Outlast, Amnesia, Machine for Pigs, Slender the Arrival, no FNAF just yet. So, early development of the game focused on its core idea, which was how the AI interacted with the main concept. The idea was you had to break into someone's house, stealth and puzzle solve your way into finding out what was in their basement, all the while this neighbor is in the house. And the big selling point of this is how the AI worked with that. If he didn't know you were in the house, he would act as a regular person would living in their house. Watch TV, take a shower, get some food in the kitchen. However, if you knock something over or break a window, he'll notice something is amiss in his house and he'll start hunting for the intruder. And if he catches you, he doesn't just kill you. He kicks you out of the house, and each time you come back, he learns about how you got in the last time. So if you get in through the front door, that door will be locked. Break through a window, that'll be boarded up. Use this hallway too much, he'll set traps, cameras, you name it. The game gets harder the more times you fail because he learns your MO. There's a really cool video they have explaining it. It's a really cool concept and a pretty big undertaking for a dev team that was mostly used to making mobile arcade games. And even early on, this concept showed great potential. Honestly, this 2014 proof of concept video not only shows their pretty strong focus on this idea, but it was more tense to watch than playing Alpha 4, which we'll get into. You can tell that this game had something really interesting going for it. The tense chase scenes, the feeling of stress as you try to do everything as quickly and carefully as possible. Not to go on too long a tangent, but I think this concept is really effective for me personally for a specific reason. Some of the first spooky games I ever played were the Nancy Drew Her Interactive games. Something about their style is still a huge inspiration for me. One of the first real scares I ever remember getting from a game was Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. The first night Nancy Drew stays at the lakeside cabin where the game takes place, the dogs appear and jump at the windows. It terrified young Sagan. One of the first jump scares I ever experienced, I guess you could say. But even more tense for me was in the Nancy Drew game Message in a Haunted Mansion. While there are plenty of jump scares and spooky happenings to be found in this game, the scariest for me was nothing supernatural. See, there are multiple residents of this haunted mansion, and as you investigate who may be behind the strange happenings going on, sometimes you have to do a little snooping. You keep track of each resident's schedule, and when they're away, you can explore their room, but only for a specific window of time. And if you're caught in their room when they get back, well, honestly, nothing that scary even happens, you just have to go to your last save point. But something about that tension of snooping around someone else's space with the threat of them finding you looming is really effective for me. And Hello Neighbor cranks that up to 11 by having the person actually wandering around in the house with you, and you know, him possibly being a murderer or kidnapper or something. And I should probably mention, the game being cartoony was not a later change made in an attempt to appeal to the post-FNAF child audience. It actually has had a fairly strong visual style since the very beginning. And early on, it actually set it apart in my opinion. It had this dark, Tim Burton-esque style that set it apart from the asset store look of a lot of horror games that took place in a house. As the game continued, they definitely leaned into the cartoony aesthetic a little too much in my opinion, but early on this style really helped build a unique identity for the game. The point is, Dynamic Pixels had a strong concept, a strong direction, a unique art style, and overall the great beginnings of a game with Hello Neighbor. And in September of 2016, the pre-alpha was released to the public, with Alpha 1 following in October. By 2016, the power of Let's Players was no secret. For indie developers, more than getting an IGN article about your game or even a trailer with 1 million views, the big stepping stone to get a successful game was getting a Let's Player to play the game. Trust me, I know.
A little bit quiet here.
And Dynamic Pixels knew too. So, much like Happy's Humble Burger Farm would do years later, Dynamic Pixels reached out to a bunch of Let's Players and basically said, hey, check out our game. You don't have to like it, but just check it out. And a lot of people did. And it worked. So let's talk about what games those Let's Players played. The versions before the final release, the calm before the storm, the alphas.
The alphas?
Let's start with the pre-alpha, as that's the first publicly available version of the game to my knowledge. But to be fair, it really is just a less polished version of Alpha 1. There's less to do, and the sounds are not great, but it shows promise in the premise of the game. It has an opening that perfectly piques your interests, but keeps it simple. The neighbor's door is open, so you walk inside, see a red light coming from the basement. Before you can enter, the neighbor catches you and kicks you out. Now the basement is locked. That's all you need. The player's interest is piqued, they know the motivation, perfect. But when you finally get into the basement, it's, well, unfinished. One interesting thing here to note, though, is that there is a bunch of strange secrets or lore bits that when you connect them all together, mean nothing. The developers confirmed that all the weird pieces they left here were just smoking guns. And honestly, I like that. Not to say that complex lore is inherently bad, but if the main gameplay is strong, having those little pieces be open to interpretation, but not interrupt part of the game that counts, the gameplay, it can add an extra layer to the game. But by Alpha 1, Dynamic Pixels would already begin laying the groundwork for the main storyline of Hello Neighbor. So let's move on to Alpha 1. The alpha starts with a nice little intro sequence. It doesn't do as good a job at effectively pointing the player directly to the basement as the pre-alpha's opening, but it is a good calm mood setter that also helps you understand the mechanics of the game, and the little cutscene at the very least lets you know that the neighbor is suspicious. Although later you do see a little cutscene that helps you give more direction towards the basement, I just don't think it's as concise as the pre-alpha. Now, this alpha is far from perfect. Its physics are very glitchy, the neighbor's AI is finicky, I literally glitched him right out of the gate, and the platforming sucks. Unfortunate foreshadowing for the future of the series. However, this is the best version of the game, hands down. Honestly, this and the pre-alpha are the only games that actually feel like a breaking and entering game, and I think there are a couple reasons for this. The house is small and claustrophobic. It really feels like the neighbor could be around any corner, like you're constantly just dodging and hiding, snooping around this guy's house. The house in this version is also built with the neighbor in mind, so he's an actual threat. His AI is good at cutting you off and is more adept at the layout of the house than you, which makes sense. This is his house. His trap setting is also pretty effective.
His property.
Think about how to best approach each new attempt. The movement and picking up items feels snappy and smooth, except for the platforming, of course. The sound design, music, general atmosphere is great. It's tense and spooky, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. The neighbor actually has an animation for when he catches you, which can't be said for all of the versions. The art style, while obviously cartoony, is still cohesive and not so absurd that it takes the tension out of the game. Again, it feels very Tim Burton adjacent. And the final ending of getting caught and being buried alive is a perfect way to keep the mystery alive. If you're interested in the game's premise at all, this is where you should start and end, in my opinion. This is as good as it gets, and it was the peak of the series. Because even as soon as we get to Alpha 2, things start getting less fun. First thing you'll notice about this is that there's a lot more to this opening than the previous one. Your character has an actual model with hands, and after you move in, there's this whole, like, scripted sequence inside. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. It feels like more production value they tried to add with this one, the more imperfections started showing through. The actual scripted breaking and entering sequence feels way less natural and uninteresting than actually just trying to get in yourself, and overall just felt odd. And with the addition of an actual player model, a lot of the snappiness of the movement and picking up items is gone. You have to hold down the button to pick things up just slightly too long, and the hand in the center of your screen is honestly a little distracting. The movement also feels even more janky.
Not gonna lie,
I think it would have been better off if they just stopped trying to make it look AAA.
Man brings up a good point that a lot of games have. Minecraft doesn't suffer from this element too much because look how little space this takes up, right? But I have had games where... Okay, this is gonna be a small rant. Recently, playing Resident Evil 2, right? And I noticed just how much space Leon and Claire take up on the screen. Now, this isn't a big issue because it's an over-the-shoulder game, right? But it does kind of not help when you're trying to make sense of your surroundings if your screen is also being taken up by extra shit on the screen. Resident Evil 8 also has this problem where the FOV is less than 90, so you already have like tunnel vision the entire game, and then outside of that, you also have your arms and shit taking up space. I don't like that. That is an issue to me. That to me is a big, a big no-no. I don't like it. I don't like it because it's annoying and it takes up space and it's doo-doo. Stop doing it. Either give me the option to turn it off or, you know, make it smaller. That's what the one good thing is about Doom, if you set it on like the old classic Doom style, is in the middle of your screen, it takes up less space. And you're able to see more, which means you're able to map your surroundings a little bit better. Which makes the game feel fairer. It makes more that you fuck up instead of, oh, I can't see it. But that's a very small weird rant that I'm sorry I had to do. Anyway, that was that was all. Let's go take a look a little further. Continue watching.
The house itself is also just a lot less interesting. It doesn't feel that intriguing to explore or sneak around, and a lot of the stylization that they went with makes things look way too over the top to really feel tense. Everything just feels off at this point. Much like the first alpha, the platforming is still terrible, and in general, it just feels less captivating. It's not to say it's without merit or it was a terrible experience. I actually didn't mind the puzzles in this one, but to me it just feels like a less good version of the first alpha, like a failed attempt at improving something that really just needed to have some bug fixes and maybe a few more puzzles and places to explore to make the game longer. And the ending. Well, you get into the basement and then just sort of run around before it cuts to a title card. It just doesn't feel as interesting or effective as the first alpha's ending. I know they were just trying to tease everyone by going, hey look, you get into the basement, what's next? But it just feels a little abrupt and strange. So this alpha wasn't terrible, but I'd still suggest playing Alpha 1 over this any day. I've actually gone back to Alpha 1 because it's just actually fun to play. I have no such want for Alpha 2. And definitely not for Alpha 3. Here's where things start really falling apart, and it starts with this house. It is giant, and on the surface that might seem more interesting. More puzzles, more places to explore, more places to run and get into chases. Unfortunately, that is not what happens. Problem number one with this house is that the neighbor's AI is just not up to snuff for it. There are tons of areas the neighbor just can't get to, so it removes a lot of the tension. It also means that in general, the neighbor has been nerfed. His traps and his ability to actually make you think critically has been significantly destroyed. He really doesn't feel like a threat anymore, which seems to be a direct result of the house being made so much bigger. He'd just be too difficult to get around if he wasn't significantly kneecapped. But that just makes him an annoyance and not really scary. And
Also removes the need of the game, right?
Jump scare, instead replacing it with him just sort of sitting there for 1 second before you're teleported back to your house.
What?
Also removes some of the fear factor. I have
Didn't
no
even grab
earthly
you?
idea why they removed a caught animation for this, but it really just makes
That's
things
dumb.
seem a lot less polished. The only thing really more annoying than the neighbor in this game is, yes, the platforming. One of the things the house's newfound size came with was the addition of a lot more platforming and building. This game is not Minecraft, this game is not Fortnite. All the stacking of boxes and jumping is some of the most infuriating, floaty, terrible execution of these concepts I've ever played. It's actually baffling why they decided to embrace the platforming and building aspects in this game, despite being the worst parts of previous versions. And if you thought the previous versions were glitchy, you haven't seen anything yet. Every time I got caught on a bear trap, he'd catch me and then glitch teleport me out of the bear trap.
Oh, lapis
I don't
lazuli.
even know what was happening. It's
Oh,
another
shit.
reason the game is not scary and the neighbor doesn't feel like a threat. He's
shit.
just so easily glitched, and there's really little to no consequence to getting caught. Not even a momentary jolt. They also removed the day and night cycle that was present in Alpha 1.
Boo.
In Alpha 2, it was just constant daytime. But the eternal night that's in Alpha 3 just sucks. It doesn't make it scarier, it just feels infuriating. It's hard to see things, and with how much bigger things are now to
That's kinda
explore, it just feels aimless. And that's a combination of the darkness, the lack of a
Why did they
threat, and the
remove
size of the
features?
house.
Why would you remove
It really
features of
feels
your
like
game?
There's no progression.
That's just dumb.
You're just sort of wandering, and despite knowing that at some point I'd make it to the basement, it just felt like I didn't really have a lot of motivation, which is something you'd need a lot of to make it through the drudgery that is this game. Falling, getting seen through walls, constantly getting reset back to outside the house, your fucking
What is
boxes
tough?
falling
What
over,
can I do with
goddamn it,
tough?
and even the simplest mistake can ruin your run. Like here, I jumped over this incredibly annoying gap and got the key. I accidentally let go of the magnet too soon, and whoop, there it goes.
Oh,
I tried for like 20 minutes getting it back. It was just gone down there, soft locked by a misclick. In general, it's just a way less polished, less interesting, less
So
scary
wait, the
version
game
of
got
Alpha 2.
worse as it went
By the
on?
end, I was soft locked with a glitched neighbor who couldn't get himself out of a wall. Okay, the last alpha before the final game. There were betas after this, but really they're just slight variations of this with different levels of bugs or bug fixes. So we'll just be talking about Alpha 4. Oh boy, what can I even say about this one? Well, it's not endlessly unfocused, but it is by far the most aimless, unpolished, and least fun version of this game to play. The neighbor doesn't really do anything. Remember the point when this game was about like a stealth horror game where you had to hide from a really intelligent AI who tries to block your path and learn from you? Because now the neighbor just walks in a slow circle in his yard. The art and style is not only less cohesive, but in general everything is less polished. Random models poking through walls, missing textures, and yet somehow it runs the worst out of all of them. Knowing Unreal Engine, it's clearly just optimization issues with how many objects they have in the game. The game honestly feels like a Roblox game.
How
in
did
a
the
bad
game
way.
get
I'd have more
worse?
fun on Roblox
That's
playing like
stupid.
Southwest Florida, Arsenal,
Aw.
or fucking work at a pizza place. I feel like Kevin McLeod
Ah.
music should be playing. They also began focusing more on the lore of the game by adding these nightmare sequences that would happen sometimes when you get caught. And I swear, I don't want to relate everything this game does to FNAF, but I think it's an important part of understanding the landscape this game existed in. FNAF 2's death minigames were in many ways a groundbreaking way of storytelling. They were surprising when you first got one, and felt uneasy to play, and the vibe of the Atari style fit with the 80s retro aesthetic of the game. Hello Neighbor tries to pull something off like this with the weird surreal nightmare sections, but they end up just being unpolished and shallow.
Oof.
It is legitimately wild comparing this game to the first version of the alpha. How much better the game feels to play, how much scarier it is, how much more polished it is. Sure, there are some glitches, but nothing like this game. Honestly, I feel like even the pre-alpha was a better experience than this. It just is insane to me how different these games feel. But this strange development cycle would eventually come to an end. And in December of 2017, Hello Neighbor's commercial release would hit stores at around $30.
And the game was still doo-doo?
What the?
Oh shit! What the fuck?
Really?
Whoa!
Oof.
Oh god! What
What?
the fuck? He's just clipping through everything. Jesus!
Nope.
What in the hell?
$30. The game was painfully unoptimized, although looking at the alphas, that's not really a surprise. But at least the alphas were free. Okay, here's the thing. The game is broken into 3 acts. Well, it's probably closer to 4, and the general opinion is the game gets worse with each act. The game has you play as Nikki Roth, who in Act
What?
1 is a teenager. After hearing a commotion inside your neighbor's house and seeing him mysteriously lock up the basement, you're set on the game's classic path, solving insane puzzles and platforming around with poorly designed character movement. However, this act is generally the strongest act. It takes place in a much smaller house, and it feels a little closer to the original concept than the later acts. Still, it's unoptimized and feels more like an alpha of a game than a finished game. At the end, you enter the basement and see what appears to be the living space of the neighbor's victim. And then you have this little chase scene with the neighbor and are caught after reaching a locked door. In Act 2, your character must escape the basement. After escaping, you realize that the whole house has expanded. Here we are, the giant house yet again. You must solve more wild puzzles and platforming to escape, which you can take multiple routes to do. Act 3 picks up with Nikki Roth as an adult, moving back to his hometown the first 2 acts took place in. The neighbor's house is nothing more than a few broken walls at this point. But after falling asleep, you wake up to find the neighbor's house is back and must complete more nonsensical puzzles, frustrating platforming, and completing strange fear rooms to once again enter the basement. After navigating the basement, you find yourself in what is essentially Act 4. Here you see that the neighbor is now giant and have to do more platforming to get into the house on his back. Once inside, you enter a final boss fight where you slowly grow as you protect your younger self from a giant shadow monster. And then finally, the game ends revealing that Act 3 and 4 of the game was all a dream. The issues of the previous versions were honed in on in the commercial release. Nonsensical puzzles, a lack of a feeling of progression, and hooray! More platforming and building. And just like the later alphas, the aspect of stealth was really put to the side, with the neighbor not really being that big of a threat. When it comes to the lore aspects of the game, it feels pretty shallow, or maybe unnecessarily vague. Lots of symbolism in wacky environments. It's yet another example of the post-FNAF indie horror trying to focus too hard on getting a game theory video made about itself instead of how good the game actually feels to play. And we'll get into that game theory point in a second. All of this forced deepness in the game really is a detriment, especially when it comes at the cost of the game's quality. If the game had stayed small and focused on improving the stealth and the AI of the character, then maybe they could have thrown in some Easter eggs or some spooky secrets that you can find in some of the rooms. The game would have been more fun to play. Bigger isn't always better. But instead, in an attempt to increase the scale of the game, both physically and story-wise, we just have a clunky mess. Honestly, here's the thing. After reading through an interpretation of the supposed plot of the game to get an understanding of what any of it means, including some of the stuff that was revealed in subsequent sequels, which we'll get to.
There's sequels?
I felt underwhelmed. It's
What?
not a terrible idea, but to get all of that story, you need to go through the unoptimized mess that is Hello Neighbor. It just doesn't feel worth it. Look, in the end, the game embraced its worst aspects in an attempt to create this.
My guess off of like not, out of what he said, right, and he described as the game's story, it's something like it has to do with like child abuse and how Hello Neighbor is sort of an allegory for either his dad or an abusive neighbor, like predatory neighbor thing. And him going back at the end is him confronting his demons and like a last trauma effort to exposure trauma effort to like get over it or something like that. Right? Is it something stupid like that? I'm gonna have to look that up. I hope I'm not correct. I hope I'm not. It's not something that dumb. But like I've been wrong before. And I've had things that are just stupid like that. So who knows, right? Let's continue watching.
Convoluted story and increased the scale on the game when it really didn't need that. It tried harder and harder to appeal to this lore-heavy horror games for kids market when the concept just didn't fit. I think objectively, Alpha 1 is leagues more fun, scary, and actually playable than any version that came after it. It feels a little odd to make this section about the actual game so short, but the truth is, many of the problems I have with the game I've already touched on with the other alphas. A lot of people caught on pretty early that the direction of the game was going was a bad one. A lot of people just abandoned the series altogether. Markiplier, one of the biggest Let's Players to bring eyes to the game in the early days, never even played the full version, quitting after the first beta saying this.
There's a lot more stuff, but I can't honestly say that the stuff is better. And that's the one thing that I'll say about it, because if I'm expecting as the game develops, it's going to get like more logical and sensible, and you know, it just seems even more nonsense.
Oof,
than it was before.
get
So
burned.
there's a lot more, but it's less refined, you know what I mean?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oof.
But that wasn't the end. You may think after a flop like that, the fans would have been disappointed and the game would have fell off plus ratio. And it's true in one sense that the game was no longer at its peak popularity, and a lot of people were disappointed with the final product. But those were mostly older teenagers and adults, you know, people with more developed brains. But that wasn't the target audience. After all, this is one of those horror games for kids games. So that close fan base of children would stick with it because, hey, look, it's got bright colors and it's got lore and look how spooky. Okay, sorry, I don't want to talk down to
I
anyone
guess
who actually enjoyed
lore.
the final Hello Neighbor
I guess
release.
lore is
I'm
a
glad
way
you
to
found a
make.
piece of media that you enjoyed. But from an outsider perspective, it's pretty clear to tell that Tiny Build was really banking on this younger audience to keep their brand alive. And it worked, because the brand expanded.
The brand expands. The brand expands.
As Luigi would say,
expand, expand, expand.
Right now there are multiple spin-offs, multiple
Annie?
books, a board game, and a TV pilot. Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek could be seen as Hello Neighbor 2, although it technically isn't. I guess it's more of a spin-off. Story-wise, I believe it's a prequel, and honestly, it seems like a unique idea. You play as one of the neighbor's kids playing games with your sibling. It seems to tell a story in the background as you play pretend in fantastical worlds, trying to beat puzzles as your sibling tries to catch you. It suffers from many of the same issues that Hello Neighbor does, but it's a neat concept. I believe its main importance, though, is it expands the backstory of the neighbor.
Yippee.
Secret Neighbor really took over certain parts of the Let's Play scene for a while. It's not actually made by Dynamic Pixels, instead being developed by Hologryph. The game essentially functions like many social deduction games like Werewolf, Gmod Murder, or yes, Among Us.
Among Us!
With a little bit of Dead by Daylight. One person is essentially the secret neighbor who can transform from being one of the other players into the neighbor and attack people, attempting to stop them.
That looks
from
like a
going
fun
into
idea.
It's relatively
Cute.
well made, but not without issues. One of those comes again with the player base of younger people. If you're just
Among
going to
Us.
a public
Bum,
match with
bum, bum,
strangers, you're
bum,
likely to
bum.
be subjected to screaming children. It's a fun idea that was decently executed, but games like Among Us and Dead
Among
by
Us.
Daylight just did it better and overtook it. There does look like a potentially interesting board game based on this game, so that might be fun, but I don't know, I'd just rather play Murder at the Party probably. Okay, so this is basically just scrap mechanic. I literally have no idea why they decided to make this. It's like a vehicle building game, I guess.
What?
It doesn't look terrible, but again, what this has to do with anything, I have no idea. It feels like the developers, who are listed as Tiny Build, the publisher, so who knows what team individually made this game, really wanted to make an engineering and construction game, but the publisher was like, make it Hello Neighbor themed, it'll be more popular. Which just seems like a useless idea considering the only way to play it is on Google Stadia. So like, who the hell is gonna play this? Little Banjo-Kazooie moment. The Hello Neighbor brand is also expanded into a series of somewhere between 8 and 12 books. Look, I get it. You gotta make money, get that bread, but why do all of these games have to do the same thing? This is another thing that makes me fully believe in my post-FNAF genre hypothesis. The Silver Eyes came out in December of 2015. Wait, Has it really been that long? Holy sh! And now Bendy and the Ink Machine has books. Hello Neighbor has
Why do
books.
they all
Like,
have books?
not every indie horror game
I
needs books,
hate
man.
reading.
I seriously don't even want to get too far into this because
I'm a big
not
dum-dum
pay me
who doesn't
money
like to read.
these. Prologue. That isn't dreaming, my grandma used to say. That's your soul getting into trouble. I was what my parents called a restless sleeper. My grandma knew better, though. It's like she was there when I closed my eyes and drifted off.
Ooh,
When I would
cave.
wake up, she'd make me wash
Exploring
my
the
hands,
cave.
just like she did first thing every morning.
Exploring
She'd click her
cave.
tongue while she scrubbed my hands raw, shaking off the water and raking them dry with a towel. You're the
Ooh.
wandering type,
Lapis
she'd say
lazuli,
sometimes.
bale.
Your soul makes your body
Lapis
wander,
lazuli.
makes you lost.
Lapis lazuli.
Then she would watch me closely as I ran off to my room to
Oh,
get dressed
fuck's
for the
sake,
day.
more water.
Even after I closed the door, I could hear her scolding me. You stop that wandering, boy chick. Or one
What?
day, you won't make it home. That's when my dreams turned to nightmares. My grandma was nearly blind when she died, but she saw me clearer than anyone ever has. Until I
What?
met Aaron. Chapter 1. Nicholas.
What does this
Now
do?
means now, Mom yells from the foot of the stairs. With the house empty, her voice bounces toward me
Oh.
like a ball, careening off the walls and straight through my aching head. What the fuck is this writing? Okay, the last thing here about that I want to talk about is the Hello Neighbor TV pilot. It is wild. It started as a 5-minute proof of concept test pilot, but that's basically just a more condensed version of the full 20-minute pilot that doesn't have a lot of substance, so we're gonna stick with the full version of the pilot. The animation is decent. It doesn't seem like the animators are untalented, just that they didn't have the time or budget. The style is fairly unappealing, but it's for kids, not me. I will say though, there are times those
Oh, it's a
budget
baby
or
show.
time restrictions really rear their head, and it looks like go animate. The dialogue is
It's a baby
very
show for
stupid.
babies.
It honestly feels like an AI wrote the script.
My
Lol.
neighbor, Mr. Peterson, is acting very suspicious after his children, Aaron and Maya, gone missing.
Basically everything
What?
they say has weird sentence structure or formatting or word choice like that. The pacing is also just really odd. It's like they'll decide to go do something and then instead of doing it, continue debating to do it, or they'll go somewhere and then basically do nothing while they're there and just say some random things to each other and then cut somewhere else. And especially in the full pilot, we linger way too long in certain conversations. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily feel like filler because the actual episode tries to fit like a whole movie plot into 20 minutes. I seriously cannot accurately describe how odd the writing is. You'll just have to watch for yourself. The jokes are terrible, which I mean, yeah, I guess it's made for kids, but like so much of the time, all of the dialogue is just so odd that I actually can't tell what's even supposed to be a joke. Everything is just, here's a weird thing for a person to say, which is like all of the dialogue.
If Nikki's journal is right, Peterson will be at the county records office for another 32 minutes.
The journal is right. Never been so right before in my life.
What? Did you stick a tracker to him or something?
Of course not.
And it is just filled to the brim with moments that just make you feel like you're watching a TV show in a fever dream. Like here, she's being attacked by a raven, and then we cut back and she's screaming, but there's nothing there anymore, and she just keeps screaming for like a little too long. Like, what is even this conversation?
What happened to you up there?
I have no idea. But in Aaron's room, something happened. I mean, maybe.
Huh?
It's just that I could have been.
Mr. Peterson's study. Mickey, it was. We have to tell the others.
I know.
What? What the fuck is this dialogue?
Okay, so the plot generally is the neighbor's kids have gone missing, and the main characters suspect the neighbor himself did it. Our main characters enter the house after like 2 seconds of setup, and look, I'll say this. At least the show's concept feels a little closer to the original than
Polished deep
Hello,
slate.
Engineer.
Oh, maybe that's.
This could be a crime scene. Anything we touch could be blamed on us. Blood?
Bruh.
You literally just said not to touch anything like 2 seconds ago, and now you're picking up a possible murder weapon with your bare hands. They sort of wander aimlessly for a while and get shot out of weird tubes that are there for some reason. They think that they see the neighbor driving off with a body in his car. Without explaining what they found at all, they chase him to this abandoned theme park where he yells at some ravens and then talks loudly to himself. It turns out the body was actually a doll. The characters get spotted and have to hide. While chasing
But
them,
it's
the
a
neighbor
kiddie
drops
game.
this curio shop gemstone.
What?
Now, instead of a scene where the characters all get together and talk about what they found, they just all go home off screen. So then our main
What?
character gets kidnapped by the neighbor, and it ends on a cliffhanger as the characters finally kinda address the stuff that happened in the house. It still doesn't really make a lot of sense. The best way I can describe what it feels like to watch this show is like Like when you're watching a show in the background and things are all kind of disjointed and out of focus and you're not paying attention, but you are paying attention and you're just desperately trying to cling on to anything and they're just not giving you anything. The show's release ended up spawning one of the most popular things about Hello Neighbor, the tweets to MatPat. You've probably seen those screenshots before. A series of tweets by the TinyBuild Twitter account absolutely begging MatPat to make a theory video about the pilot. Like a small Cockney orphan in the 1800s begging for just another bite of gruel, sir. It's so wild, especially considering like there's not really much substance here. Like what do you want the theory to be about? What is there to talk about? But again, I think this is more evidence to my theory that TinyBuild put all their eggs into this fandom basket. Game theory, let's players, horror games for kids. The power these YouTubers have over the life and death of these games is honestly a little scary, but it's a two-way street. As someone who, because I make FNAF videos, definitely has a lot of younger viewers that will find my channel, and just in general, audience members who were in or around fandoms like Bendy's, Baldi's, Poppy's Playtime, you get it. Sometimes the pressure to make videos about these games because you know they'll pull viewers, even if you're not really interested, can be scary. Like, I didn't want to make a Hello Neighbor video initially because I really did not want to draw more viewers here who would only really be interested in this post-FNAF indie horror game genre. And
but I'm interested in it. Boo!
I was talking about Poppy's Playtime, Baldi, NFT, Friday Night Funkin', Bendy, and the Neighbor Machine. But I'm glad I did this video because it's allowed me to talk about some of the issues and trends that I've noticed. Seriously, if you're a game developer, look out for these pitfalls. And if you're a player, try and keep this in mind because I guarantee you will find more and more games over the next couple years that fit into this post-FNAF indie horror game for kids genre that I keep talking about.
Baby horror. I hate that.
We're not quite done yet because there's still a game we haven't.
I hate that. I don't.
A game that, as of recording,
it's not
hasn't
hating.
come out yet. Hello Neighbor 2.
It's not as much hate. It's just like I'm gonna play a horror game. I want to be scared. Oh, look at that thing though.
Prototype game called Hello Guest in 2019. It appeared to be a spin-off game with a new setting antagonist, this weird bird creature. To me, it resembles most closely the I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
Oh, those look cool. What the fuck?
These really cool creatures from Austrian folktales. I love them. They are funny looking. Anyway, in the prototype, you took control of a security guard in an amusement park.
Ah! Security guard!
It seemed to be better executed than the original Hello Neighbor, and many who were fans of the game got really excited at the possibility of this game. And after the prototype's release, TinyBuild started a legitimately interesting ARG type thing, with events in the Secret Neighbor game, interacting with the community in their Discord, and cryptic teaser live streams. This ARG finally culminated in a reveal trailer for Hello Neighbor 2. It seems like Hello Guest was completely replaced by Hello Neighbor 2.
What?
And honestly, it doesn't look bad. In Hello Neighbor 2, you're taking on the role of a new character, an independent journalist who is investigating disappearances around his town, whose culprit is rumored to be, wouldn't you guess it, the neighbor from the first game. It also appears that the neighbor himself will go missing at some point, and this guest character will be an antagonist at one point too. And here's the thing that gives me hope for this game. It's not the story, it's not the expanded lore or open world. It's the refocusing of the game's AI. Now, do I think the game is going to live up to the hype it's setting for itself? No. If you take everything they're saying in the trailers at face value, you'll probably be disappointed. And all this talk about neural networks and learning algorithms doesn't mean that AI is actually going to be good. It could be terrible. However, the fact that they're trying to refocus this series away from, I don't know, engineering games and trying to bring it back to the idea of a smart AI who will try to learn from what you're doing is a pretty good sign. It seems like the game has finally found the style that it wants to be, the graphics look very improved, and hopefully they're able to use this second chance effectively. Right now, there are 2 alphas out, Alpha 1 and Alpha 1.5. Having played a little bit of Alpha 1.5, I can say that I'm at least optimistic. It's not perfect, but it definitely gave me more Alpha 1 Hello Neighbor vibes than Alpha 4. It felt like a stealth breaking and entering game again, which is cool. At the time of recording this, the beta is set to release in April of 2022, and the game will be released sometime. That's all we know for now. So here's the thing. I've come across pretty harsh in this video, and I don't want to seem mean-spirited. I have nothing against the developers. In fact, I get it. When working in any creative industry, but especially the games industry, making a career out of it is really hard, and sustaining that career is even harder. Not everyone can make games for the art. Some people
there's a jungle there?
So if chasing a trend means you'll be in the limelight just a little bit longer, sometimes you gotta do it. And honestly, it seems like that was the right decision. If it had just stayed as a little 1-hour stealth game, it probably would have came and went out of the Let's Player consciousness and no one would remember it anymore. But now they have the opportunity
Well, it could have
to
been
make Hello
finished.
Neighbor
I
2
mean-
and expand the brand. I just hope with this new game, they take advantage of that opportunity and actually make it a good game. I don't want the takeaway from this video necessarily to just be Hello Neighbor sucks. I think it should be a lesson to game developers. In this era of post-FNAF indie horror, it can be really easy to want to chase that trend. The colorful characters, filling your game with secret lore, appealing to the newfound audience of 9 to 14-year-old horror game fans. But if it doesn't fit your concept, don't do it. Too many games has fallen into the trap of trying to chase that niche, to the detriment of their own games. Five Nights at Freddy's wasn't successful because it was chasing the Slender trend. Hello Neighbor's initial interest
Whoa.
didn't pop up because it was chasing the FNAF trend. It was
Oh, look
because
at
it
that.
had an interesting and strong concept. Don't let your game fall into the trap of trying to copy what's already been successful. Don't chase that game theory video.
But
Focus
shareholders
on
think
making
that's
your game
interesting,
the best
though.
it can be. Or in a more concise conclusion, instead of spending $30 on Hello Neighbor, just play the Great Kitchen Escape.
The what?
Thank you all for watching this extremely long look at a game that I don't even like. But seriously, it's been a great time writing and editing this video, and I appreciate everybody who has stuck with it so far. Hopefully this was informative. Just want to once again shout out the regular stuff, my Twitch, my Twitter, my second channel, my Spotify. Go, look, and yes, once again, I will be making a security breach video. Currently, the plan is it will be either my next video or the one after the Marble Hornets video. Not quite sure yet, but just be patient and subscribe if you want to be notified when that drops. With all that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
I'll
This is
subscribe.
Edwin Sagan here. In case that entire video did not convince you of this post-FNAF genre hypothesis that I have, just look at the upload schedule of the official developers of Poppy's Playtime. I feel like this image speaks for itself.
Oh God. But he has a second channel. I do want to know what his first thingy on security breach is. Right? Ah, initial thoughts. There we go.
Hey everyone, welcome to
Wait. Before I go, I must add that to the stream. This is a format, right? Every time I watch some garbage, I just add it to my description. As these are videos I watch on stream. It does not matter to me that nobody's watching, by the way. This is just therapeutical at this point. It's like I get to make some kind of content, as in being online, and I get to just watch video essays I kind of just want to go through and stuff like that. So that's interesting. Should I make the screen bigger? Nah, I shouldn't. It's a stupid idea as well, but this is the content. Until I have something interesting. The problem is I'm tired. I don't have anything interesting to say, and I found that Minecraft streams are just not that inherently interesting, apparently. So they're a good stream it if I just want to watch YouTube videos thing, outside of perhaps like adventure maps and stuff like that. Might look into that, because I remember that used to be a thing, right? Like adventure maps that had like that were basically little either horror games or little story-driven games, but like within a map. I remember that being a thing. I might have to look into that. How they follow a more Let's Play format then, but yeah, outside of that, I just need to go back to playing League more than likely. So weird not having my hands move. By the way, it makes yawning weird. Well, take a look at this.
Script here, but I'm gonna try not to re-record.
That's Resident Evil 2
the same
music.
lines over and over again, so I might
Oh,
be a little
or is that FNAF?
messier than my normal videos are. This is a video about my initial thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Eventually, I'd like to make a full review and put it on my main channel, but for now, I just want to talk about my initial thoughts after a few hours of playing. I've got pretty mixed feelings about the game, and I'm trying to process them the best I can, so I want to split this up into two sections: what the game is and what the game isn't. Let's start with what the game is. The game is fun. It didn't necessarily exceed my expectations,
Agree.
but it definitely met anything that I could have hoped for with the game.
Oh.
Open world isn't the right term, but when I initially talked about the first trailer, I had said that I wanted a lot of freedom to explore the whole Pizzaplex.
Well, you got
It seems
that.
like they've granted that. Obviously, some areas you need to progress further into the plot to get access to, but in general, it lets you pretty freely go from area to area. It also includes some of the other things that I had talked about. For instance, having fun collectible items that have some sort of purpose but also fit in the game's theme. It has great visuals, sometimes not optimized, and that can cause the game to run slow, but it looks good nonetheless. I really love the whole aesthetic of the 80s malls and go-karts and laser tag and that sort of thing. I love that it kind of feels like exploring a huge megaplex of liminal space images. The carpets, the posters, the neon lights, the environment looks great. Compared to the other FNAF games, it has a pretty expansive gameplay time comparatively. It seems like it has multiple endings, and from what I've seen, it looks like it takes around 5 to 7 hours to beat. One thing that it really reminded me of was Alien Isolation, which I really enjoyed when it came out.
But it's like baby Alien
the way
Isolation.
You move around, the save points, the way you progress. The
It's not a bad thing, by the way.
really
Just because I
reminds me
say
of
anything
the
doesn't mean it's a
Nostromus
bad
from
thing.
that
It's just
game,
like a
so
thing.
I'd take it as a compliment. Okay, now let's talk about what it's not. It is not really a Five Nights at Freddy's game, or at least not at all what you would think of when you think about playing one. From the very opening, that's clear. So far, there's no sense of arcadey, resource management style gameplay where you balance a bunch of aim mechanics as they get harder and harder each night. The characters don't look like eerie animatronics.
Oh, it's not a jungle? Shit!
Stare into the void
No, it is a jungle. There's a jungle.
lifelike and at the same time too filled with life. Let's actually talk about the characters for a second. The main cast of Glamrock, Freddy, Chica, Montgomery, and Roxanne are just furries. I'm not gonna make this video like a dig at the furry community, but it's just not scary. They're bright, colorful, and not in like a creepy way like the toy animatronics
they're cute.
were. They talk and act like people. Glamrock Freddy is practically the Iron Giant, or like a Titanfall character. Some designs I've seen are pretty decent, like the endoskeletons, but it otherwise feels more like interacting with furryified versions of the characters from Wall-E. And Vanny, since the beginning, I haven't really liked Vanny's design.
Well, she's not in the game that much, so that's not a problem. Ha ha ha.
Mask that looked way better than the weird costume we ended up getting. It's not scary and just way too Looney Tunes-esque for me. One direction I'd really hoped they'd go was something similar to the designs of Legion and Dead by Daylight. Vanny in like a dark hoodie and a knife in hand with a creepy, cracked and blood
Nope, because it's for babies.
Instead, we got this, which is just not creepy. And that's another thing it just isn't in the end. The game isn't scary. Sure, there are parts that are a little...
No! Where is my...
Intense, but I haven't felt scared so far in my 2.5 hours of gameplay. And I'm open to being scared further in the game, but for a horror game, I'd hoped that would happen a little bit sooner. The game just doesn't do a good job at building the fear the first game built by the atmosphere and mystery, the panic of the second one built by a barrage of eerie sounds and characters, the dread of the third game with droning ambience in a sickly environment, or the terror of the fourth game with its terrifying ambience and frantic gameplay. Nothing in the game so far has come close, except maybe the daycare section, but that part was so buggy that it ended up just breaking what little suspense there was. On that note, the game is also definitely not polished. I feel kind of bad for Steelwool here. It seems like they really wanted to wait longer and have been trying really hard to fix the bugs, but pressure from the community led them to release it early. And they acknowledge that there are some issues that still need sorting out. But, I mean, just look at this. A lot of the gameplay you've seen so far is just 14 minutes of recording I did to capture the insane...
Why can't it run fast? Why can you run fast? Why do you take multiple hits? No. 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 No!
I literally had to replay
shit.
when the game wouldn't load or I'd clip out.
Oh shit.
I'm sure once
shit. I don't.
Fixed in the future, it'll be
I want to live. I want to live.
It definitely did sour the mood a
bit.
Shit.
Where am I going?
I'm sitting here comparing the game to previous FNAF games, and I'm wondering if it's all fruitless. Is there a point comparing it to previous installments?
Oh, Cocoa Bean.
I'm just finally coming to terms with where the series has been going since Sister Location. The gameplay that was once core to the franchise being placed aside in favor of more
Here, take that. Ideas. Burn, zombies, burn.
It's not inherently a bad thing. I really love the tycoon part of Pizza Sim, but it also has been leaning away from the part of the story and atmosphere that I personally loved the franchise for.
Oh, bamboo.
The story being this odd, creepy, unsettling, murky pool of details about something supernatural, sure, but also deeply tragic. And there are great examples of the series exemplifying these aspects.
Well, Cheetah, your house is being burned down.
And disturbing feeling you
I got scared, so,
FNAF 2 death mini
oops.
Games. the melancholy sadness you felt when completing FNAF 3's Happiest Day minigame, and then getting the good ending, with each of the characters' heads sitting empty on the ground, their lights burned out. I don't think this game is a failure, or even bad, if they can fix the bugs. Honestly, as long as the things are polished out over the next couple weeks, I think Steel Wool should consider the game a success. It's fun, and they clearly put a lot of passion and time into it.
Oh God.
So for the more old school FNAF
I need
fans
to get.
like me,
I need to
think
get
we're just
home.
gonna have to come to terms with the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's isn't this anymore. Scott Cawthon's vision for the series has expanded into a more sci-fi, almost supervillain-esque story, and some people like that. I'm just personally partial to the older vibe. If you'd asked me back in 2015 what I thought Five Nights at Freddy's 7 was going to be, I probably would have said something like, oh, we're probably gonna go back to Fredbear's and maybe finally figure out who the purple guy is. I bet there's gonna be gameplay with the spring locks, and maybe the death mini games will be like an actual arcade game you can play. It would not be this. And that's fine. A lot of hardcore fans like it, and it seems like this move forward has brought a new wave of players, so I can't exactly say it was the wrong move.
Shit!
But that's what I mean when I say my thoughts are complicated. I generally have enjoyed my time with the game so far, but it just doesn't feel like Five Nights at Freddy's anymore.
I need to get
home. A lot of
home.
games from Poppy's Playtime to Hello Neighbor have tried to capture what that felt like. And they all fail, because to me, Five Nights at Freddy's was lightning in a bottle. Anything else is just a cheap imitation. And so it honestly makes sense to move the series forward. But I can't say that I'm not a little disappointed. Okay, that was a bit of a dramatic video. I don't mean to be overly sentimental.
Boink, 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 boink.
I've enjoyed
Oh
the game
shit,
so far,
spiders,
but I just
no.
wanted to put my honest thoughts out there.
Spiders.
I'll probably end up making a main channel video about the game whenever I finish it, although don't expect that for a little while. And I'll see you all next time.
Okay. What I think about the whole that idea he puts out, where it's like baby games for FNAF games become like just baby games because horror games for kids is just kind of popular, is that I think some developers are kind of missing what kids like in horror games as well. Is that it has to feel like you're not supposed to play it. Like it has to have this part of it where it's probably a little too extreme for a regular child. You juke! Get juked! Oop, there. Get juked. Okay, so oh, bamboo. Oh shit. Yeah, look at me. Don't forget the bamboo. I can grow more bamboo with the bamboo I have. I have to get home. I have to get home. Oh, a big tree. Look at me. Look at me. Living in the safety of my own chaos. Can I actually get to the other side here? Piss. There's a spider there. I could get to the other side if I just burned the forest down. Could be my safety net, just having the fire around me. Ah! Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. Where do I go from here? Okay, that looks like a path I built, right? Yeah, that's a path I built. Eh. There. Eh, leave me alone. I think I went this way? Right? Oh, wolf. Hello. Yeah. Oh, shit. Why is there a creeper between me and my exit path? Ah! Okay, safety. What? Is that a female zombie? Why do I hear a female zombie? Are there female zombies? Is that a new thing? That's terrifying. Or at least concerning. I like flint and steel. I am possibly kind of laying waste a little bit to their civilization. However, I am also helping myself out by, you know... Oh, hello chicken. Bye, chicken. No! I am in a dangerous situation. Hardcore with only 3 lives. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh shit, those are skeletons. No. Wait, if I could just... I'm not gonna heal anymore. I have no food on me. Only chickens that are raw. I'm not gonna be healing anymore. Oh. Fuck me. Oh god, no. Oh, spiders. No, 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 no. No! No, 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 no. No. Sleeping in bed should heal you all the way. I think. Make you hungry, but steal you all the way. Bam! We made it back. Holy crap. What was I doing? I'll build stuff tomorrow. Anyway. I'm getting tired, so I think I'm just going to end it here. So for anyone watching this whenever, thank you. And I'm going to be leaving this here. This was fun. And really stressful. However, I would say to take care and see you guys probably tomorrow. Probably. Yeah. Bye.